Welcome to Season 2, Episode 17 of The Tree of Geek. I'm your host, Josh, joined, of course, by the H-Train.
That's right, what's up?
And you're tuning into what I believe is going to be an action-packed show that you're not going to want to miss. In this episode, we're taking a look at the dystopian world of Judge Dredd. We'll be comparing the classic 1995 film Judge Dredd with the 2012 reboot simply known as Dredd. And we're going to be discussing what makes each of them stand out in their own unique ways. But that's not all. We're also going to be exploring some of the iconic comic book topics that brought this legend to life and sharing our wish list for the future of the franchise. So, all of that out of the way. Senor H-Train, how are you doing today?
Well, since you called me senor, I shall talk like this for you.
We just got canceled.
Yeah, we just got canceled. No Taco Bell sponsorships for us. Or Chipotle. I've never been to Chipotle. What's new for me? Well, quite a few things. You got a couple of minutes to listen? Because I got a couple things here.
Oh, I got plenty of time.
Yeah. Let's start off with my recent vacation that I took right after your vacation. Went to Myrtle Beach. Shout out to Player's Choice. I picked up a Sandman Volume 1, I guess what do you call it? No, it's not an omnibus, but it's like... it's
like a trade paperback?
Yeah, that's it. The newest issue of Moon Knight. I haven't read it either. They just haven't had time since I've gotten back. And then shout out to the House of Heroes comic book store. I picked up a reprint of Wolverine #1 for a pretty decent price. The guy's like, it's a reprint, right? And I was like, well, I just don't care. I just want it. So got a good price on that. Watched some horror movies here for the horror movie fans out there. In a Violent Nature. Good movie. Definitely recommend it. It does have a little bit of slowness towards the end, but if you want to watch a movie that's in the point of view of like somebody like Jason Voorhees, check this out. It's very bloody, and if you guys have heard about the yoga scene, it is real and it is wicked. Just finished Watchers today. It's a weird fantasy sci-fi movie with one of the Fanning girls, Dakota Fanning, maybe Elle Fanning, don't know which one it was. The First Omen, that had some very disturbing scenes in it when it wasn't being slow. And Tarot, we talked about our Days of Future Geek about things coming up. I talked about a movie called Horror Scope that had the dead kid from Spider-Man. I guess it got renamed Tarot. I kept hearing about this Tarot movie and all these monsters in it. So, I checked it out and realized that was Horror Scope. I guess they were like, man, that kind of sounds dumb. Let's change the name.
Well, they probably figured it'd be too easy for certain adult websites to parody.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe
they parodied that movie.
Maybe that name was already taken.
Maybe they make a couple scenes with that witch lady. I don't know. That'd be weird. The Boys just started up. You said you haven't watched it.
Nope. But season 4. I'm not going to touch it until they're all out.
Yeah, it was kind of weird the first episode or two, but I think it's starting to hit its stride. I'm getting close to being done with Star Wars Acolyte. I actually like it. A lot of people hate it. I don't care. I think it's enjoyable. I don't care if there's some things in there that they do is like, oh, that's what they're doing. Oh, that's the bad guy. Okay. That's, whatever. I still enjoy watching lightsaber guys and girls and other alien types jump around off trees and chop each other up into
when pieces. I originally heard they were doing a Star Wars show that basically followed like young Jedis, all I could think was, well, we know how it's going to end.
True, but this isn't a Skywalker story, which I appreciate. But what if it's not over yet?
What if the very last episode you see Anakin walk in and just slaughter everybody and leave, and then the credits roll?
He's not alive yet.
Oh, it's
not even.
Wow,
this is like the Lies of the Republic or something. I don't know.
So he drives a, what do they call it, a little speeder thing in there. A pod racer.
Yeah.
What else you got going on?
Hot Dragon.
Hot Dragon. House of the Dragon.
Hot Dragon. And those dragons are hot. That show's cool. I like that show. I really, really dig House of the Dragon Season 2. I feel like they're picking up right where they left off the last season, making a couple fixes for some things. I can actually see some scenes now. There's a scene that happened in the last episode. It was really dark. I was like, oh no. It's going to be one of those things again where I can't see anything that's going on. And I feel like they messed with the grayscale or something, wherever you do the saturation of your TV. Remember back you had those old TVs, you mess with all the different knobs and stuff. They did something where I actually could see what was happening in the darkness, and I greatly appreciate it. I really do. Because that first season, man, that whole beach thing, I was like, I have no idea what's going on right now. I hear moaning, and I'm sure they're banging, but I can't see nothing. And maybe you're not supposed to see anything, but like I should at least be able to see a hand or a head or a foot. I mean, like, what? Damn. Furiosa. I won't talk much about it. I'll let you steal that one, but I did watch Furiosa. Awesome. Maybe we should do a Mad Max episode here. We seem to be doing a sci-fi theme this season. We should maybe possibly get to Mad Max. We'll talk about it. Star Trek fans, we were sad to hear that Prodigy was canceled. And there was a lot of those Disney. I tried to watch it. It's Disney commercial after Disney commercial, like Nick XD or something. I don't know. But this is on Netflix now. Just dropped. So they're bringing a lot of cameos in, I heard. I didn't get a chance to start it yet, but it's getting really good reviews. I saw an article today that said it was the best serialized Star Trek in years.
Really?
Yeah, years.
In years.
Years.
Nice.
You ever notice the people around this place all say twice?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it, man. I did that twice.
Or the store Weiss, Weis. It's Wise's.
Or Sheets is Sheets's. I'm going to go to Sheets's.
Yeah.
Okay. Emily's a Wawa person, but hey, no, listen, Wawa fans out there, I finally gave Wawa a second chance on my way back from vacation. I did get an Italian sub, not a hoagie. I refuse to call it that. And it was actually good. I mean, I don't know if it compared to a sheet sub, but it was actually pretty decent. And yeah, I wanted to eat a whole nother one. I was starving to death.
Well, did you see while you were gone on vacation that week, Chipotle opened up?
Oh, I've heard about Chipotle.
And apparently they've been like packed busy.
I'll get there next year. I like that Taco Bell and Chipotle are right down the street from each other.
I know, right?
And there's a Quick Lube now. Like,
yeah,
you know, any mechanics live in this town. Who's going to take their car to the Quick Lube?
Well, and up in the Haas's parking lot, they're opening a Jiffy Lube.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. So
I really didn't get any bids on it yet or anything, so we weren't sure. Oh my lord. And finally, I'll wrap this up with the bear. I don't know if foodies are geeks or not, but geeks eat. And season 3, right before the podcast recording here, I watched the latest episode. It's wow, it's fire, and I love it. I'm so glad that show is around. They didn't make it a one-off. The fans said we want more, and now we're on season 3. So keep it going.
See, I love cooking shows, stuff like that. I feel like I'd really like that show. I should probably check it out.
Yeah, it's intense. It's intense. A lot of yelling. So much yelling. So much.
Oh, is Gordon Ramsay in it?
Maybe it's Offspring. I don't know. Just a lot of yelling. And you know, I'd leave it there at the bear, but I can't believe this slipped my mind for a quick second. Just started watching Doctor Who on Disney Plus. I heard it's not doing well with critics. I don't care what they think. I recommend the show. I'm having fun with it. Emily's having fun with it.
Emily's watching it.
Emily's watching it with me. She watched some of the other ones.
Okay.
She's not like super invested, but she'll put her Wordle down off her phone and go, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't know. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in and I'm enjoying it.
I got Danae through most of Tenet. I remember we got up to the episode where they got stuck in the dollhouse. And I remember because it was a very creepy episode and she didn't want to watch it before bed because it was creepy and we never got back to it. I would love to get her back into it. But like I said before, I'm stuck and I cannot quite get past Jodie Whittaker. I like her as an actress. She was amazing in Broadchurch.
You're stuck in season 2?
1. I can't get through 1.
Just jump to 3. Just watch her final season. Just jump to 3.
You don't lose anything?
Not really, because the season 3 is the one where they really talk about the Doctor and who the Doctor is and where the Doctor came from.
Oh,
and I will say for this new season, no spoilers, but they take everything from that season and what you learn. And this new Doctor, first episode says, I'm the Doctor. Here's my history. Done. So you don't have to have this.
Now, does it feel like you lose something there? Like,
I don't think so, because there's always this will they, won't they about the history of the Doctor in all the seasons of the newer seasons since Eccleston, where like, oh, they hint at this, they hint at that, they don't really tell you, and then you have a whole season, they lead up to it, and you kind of feel sort of empty. This one's just like, we're going to get out of the way. And that way we can go on, each episode is each episode, this is what's happening in this episode, and still tie into older seasons and whatnot, but I don't know.
Okay. Now, I know a guy at work and I were talking about it. He feels like this entire script was written more as like a Tenet script. Now, my argument to that is simply it's Moffat. I mean, Tenet was around for Moffat. But he said that he truly feels like the Doctor we have now is just Tenet in another body, essentially.
I could see the similarities.
Now, I haven't seen any with the new Doctor, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. He's a cheerful guy. Emily watched some other British show with him on it, and she's like, he's the same character as he is on that show, only he's the Doctor now. So I don't know how true that is.
That's a lot of British actors.
Yeah. Well, she says he plays like his just everything about him, like his cheerfulness, like I said, or the way he moves. Just, I mean, he is that person, but I don't know how to explain it because I didn't watch that show. But
okay,
I don't know what a lot of people's gripes are. I could probably go into what they are, but I don't care. They can leave that at the door and just enjoy the show, man.
Nice. Do you have anything else?
Enjoy it. No, but what do you got? What do you got going on in your new world?
Well, we'll just jump right into what you said about So on my trip to vacation, I watched Furiosa on the way there. I have
On the level.
never watched a Mad Max movie. I've caught tiny bits and pieces of the original, and I mean, like, I was probably 12 at best.
I love part 3.
I don't remember any of it except that's Mel Gibson. So this was, in my opinion, my very first exposure to that universe.
Which is good, because this is kind of like a precursor in a way. So
That's what I was told.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, Furiosa became one of my favorite movies very quickly.
It's a good movie.
It is the acting. Yes, that's right, John. Anya Taylor-Joy is in it, and she's phenomenal.
They did it. Did you just the scenes where you like for a second there? I thought it was what's her face who can't outrun her wheel, because she's in the other one. Like Anna's replacing her. I was like, whoa, that man, we should do a Mad Max because I got a lot to talk about this series. The continuity is so tight.
That movie, 100% made me want to watch that series now. How many is that? The fourth one?
See the original one, Mad Max, Beyond the Thunderdome.
One with Tom Hardy.
And then the one Tom Hardy in this one. So this is 5.
Okay.
5.
Well, there you go. I'm already 1 in. But everything from the acting to the storyline to the scenery, it was just outstanding.
You know the dude that had all like the
tubes and stuff?
Yeah, like that's the director guy.
That's the only person I recognized from like advertisements of the other movies. And no, I didn't know that was the director.
Yeah. That's like the Mad Max guy. He's like it's so cool that you have a series like that brings this dude in for the entire time. But
that's awesome. I'll
digress until we get. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna do a Mad Max episode. Not next time. We have some other ones lined up, but we're gonna do a Mad Max episode.
All right. Well, let us know if you want to hear a Mad Max episode. Comment. Let us know. We're gonna do it regardless if we don't hear anything, and even if we do, we'll probably still do it.
Send me some emojis of some crickets.
But what did you think of Furiosa? Then next on my list, last weekend I decided to pack up the kids and we went to the drive-in. That's right, folks. We still have a drive-in near where we live.
It's pretty decent, the one we have, I think.
It is.
I've been there in years, but
they've been trying to redo it, like 5.
Somebody redid the bathrooms, they said.
I don't know. It was like 5 or maybe closer to 10 years ago now. They, it was like $50,000, I think, to completely convert over to digital projection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was worth it. I think they did a fantastic job. Like they're always busy. But we went and saw Inside Out 2. And
dude, that movie's first movie to hit $1 billion this year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And we saw If, Imaginary Friends with Ryan Reynolds.
You know, I took it with us to the beach, and I said like 3 or 4 times about sitting down and watching it, and it just didn't resonate. So I'm going to watch it on my fucking own.
So If... my van.
I want no spoilers.
Our van died. The battery. It was like you could turn the key and it would go click, 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 but it wouldn't actually turn over.
So you need some juice.
So yeah, it was literally like you touched jumper cables and it fired right up.
That's right. Geeks know how to fix a battery. What's up?
Oh yeah, I worked at Advanced Auto Parts for like 5 years. I can replace many batteries. So we couldn't hear it super well, but I got the gist of it, and I am totally gonna watch it again. John Krasinski, Ryan Reynolds. I can't remember the young girl's name. Voices, like voice actors galore. I mean, everybody from like Steve Carell to...
I want to know how it compares to the horror movie I watched the other month, Imaginary.
Probably not the same. But
hopefully it's a little bit better.
Without any spoilers, it made me laugh a fair amount. It had its serious parts. It made me...
Which is better, this or Detective Pikachu?
Oh, this. By far.
Yeah.
By far. I like Detective Pikachu, but this felt so much cleaner. It really did.
What about this one versus his digital video game guy? Free Guy. Is it Free Guy? Is that what it's called?
I will always love Free Guy more.
Okay.
That was phenomenal.
Is it close, though? I mean, is it look at quality?
I think it was. Like, Danae, my wife, she didn't care for it that much. She thought it was kind of boring. And I'm like, okay, but you got to remember, we're going into a whole new world here. They have to give you some type of exposition to set up what's going on.
Out of 10?
8.25.
8 out of 10. Okay.
8 1/4.
8 1/4.
Yep. I give it
8 1/4.
solid 8. I really enjoyed it. On the flip side, however.
Flip side of the quarter?
Inside Out 2, I give that like a 9.8 out of 10.
Everybody says it's good.
It is an animated freaking movie.
It's made
for children, but it is like perfect. It follows a little girl, and we meet her.
It's about her emotions. She's going through her emotions and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
the second one is she has puberty, and all these new emotions show up, like anxiety and embarrassment.
Yeah, I saw the 1,000 commercials that wouldn't stop, and now the Despicable commercials are out.
Yeah.
God.
So there's a part in Inside Out 2 that I didn't even realize it.
Don't be spoiling this for me, man.
No, But my daughter's sitting on my lap, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I realize that I have tears running down my cheeks. Because there's a scene in there that, I'm not going to spoil it, but they took an emotion people have and made it in such a visual way of what's going on inside of you that it 100% felt accurate. Like, it was so well done.
I'm going to have like a double feature with Emily. We're just going to sit down and watch both of them.
You should. Yeah. I honestly, it might be, as of right now, my movie of the year. Like, I'm already
made $1 billion.
I'm already taking notes for the Treeford Awards at the end of the year. And
right
right
now,
be
thinking about those.
As of right
They're
now,
important.
this is my number one release of the year.
I already got Bradley Cooper texting me like, "Yo, man, you got me in for that award." I'm like, "What movie were you in?" And like, whatever.
Well, for a while there, what movie wasn't he in? Moving on. So yeah, there's 3 movies I strongly recommend. Moving on to a 4th movie that I can't wait to see, and we got a tiny bit more information about, is Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, we said it takes place before Alien.
Right.
It's taking place after Alien, before Aliens. So
I already knew that.
Between 1 and 2. I was under the assumption it was before 1.
Oh. Did we discuss this? I thought I cleared this up for you.
I don't know, maybe.
You got amnesia,
I'll go back and listen. But I know you're against it like heavily, but I watched a couple trailer breakdowns where people went scene by scene. Like,
oh my Lord.
And I'm really hoping they do, but it looks like they're going to try and do something with, they were being incubated, maybe. I'm not sure. And I'm hoping we see something with David's
chip,
little embryo things that he had at the end of not Prometheus, Alien Covenant. I'm really hoping they tie them together, because I was told that this movie is going to ignore all of that.
That's what they said.
But I would really like it if they tied it directly, and I think that would be pretty solid.
Ridley Scott, and he's like, "Listen, I don't like any of those movies. I'm not going to use them." And the guy's like, "That's fine. They suck anyway." Like, dude, what? What are you doing?
I liked them. I did.
You know what? Screw. We're not talking about Judge Dredd. We're going to talk about aliens again.
Yeah. Just from the trailer alone, it's very obvious they are absolutely going back to the horror feel. Like, the trailer, it was dark, it was confined, very claustrophobic. Like, they're going back to the Alien, the original Alien feel, but in a hardcore horror mode. And I think we talked about it.
I think they just need a leather jacket to come back, tie it all together.
I want to see a xenomorph in a leather jacket. Did we talk about the scene that they were saying is in Romulus that's supposed to be like the most disturbing thing to ever?
I don't know, but I don't know about it, so let's not talk about it because...
Well, no, nobody knows what it is. Apparently,
they better beat the yoga scene from
apparently the girl in the scene was watching it on an iPad, like watching it back and like cringing at how messed up it was. And then there was a camera guy, I guess, like over her shoulder watching and almost threw up. Like, and all they're saying is that it's something that we've never seen in sci-fi or horror before. Like, I don't know what it could possibly be, but
I don't know, because that back scene, even though the CGI was a little different, but that back scene from Prometheus was pretty.
Yeah, that was rough.
Or not Prometheus, Covenant.
Yeah,
that was.
But I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm super excited.
I'm stoked.
If you've listened to this podcast for more than 2 episodes, then you should know by now the only horror movies that I love are Alien and Predators.
We're gonna change that. I'm gonna get you to watch a couple.
Maybe next year we'll do a horror year. Like, this is our sci-fi now.
We're doing all sci-fi horror from here.
Yeah. All right. And the last thing I have is actually a quote that someone said yesterday. Now, by the time you listen to this, it's definitely not going to be yesterday, but Hayden Christensen,
Star Wars guy,
yes, came out saying that Vader, which is funny you brought him up already. Well, I guess I did. That Vader could defeat Thanos. And this is assuming that the duel has Vader using his lightsaber and Force and Thanos wielding the Infinity Stones. Not like direct hand-to-hand combat, basically both of them in their prime. Christensen sees it as no one can defeat Vader and is quoted saying, "I don't think people realize how strong Vader really is." I want to hear.
Whooped his ass.
I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi kicked his ass and turned him into Vader. So, and then he kicked his ass again later.
That was Anakin.
No, watch the Obi-Wan TV show. He kicked his ass in that one too.
We were talking. No,
he was Vader in that one. He whooped his ass.
We're talking at his peak.
He was at his peak in that show. Obi-Wan's off. I'm sorry, spoilers for people. Obi-Wan's off. Hiding around. Luke is like 5.
What do you mean Obi-Wan dies?
Yeah, he was on the Titanic. Vader shows up eventually, and then he kicks the shit out of him.
So who do you think would win? Peak performance Vader with the Force and a lightsaber, or
the thing with
Thanos
the Infinity Gauntlet, he's just
Gauntlet.
using it for like one thing. You know what I mean? Thanos.
The scenario drop was Thanos.
Thanos. Unless he can somehow cut off his hand real quick.
Well, he could use the Force.
Thanos is an Eternal, like one of the last of his kind. He has cosmic abilities.
But did they ever confirm that in the
He took
MCU?
out Tyrant,
Well, that's true.
Thor, Galactus. Is he saying nobody can beat Darth Vader? Galactus can't beat Darth Vader? Is that what is on? Silver Surfers can't beat Darth Vader?
I don't know. I'm asking you your opinion, and you gave me Thanos. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Thanos on that
So,
one.
let me know in the comments. Here's another one. Who would win? Is Hayden Christensen...
Hayden Christensen.
Is Hayden Christensen... I can't say it. Is that guy right or wrong?
The jumper dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's all I've got for new.
Well, just the last thing on that, before we actually get to what we're supposed to talk about here, Bat in the Sun, they do the live action videos on YouTube. Yeah. They have Batman versus Darth Vader.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
And that is outstanding. I love that.
Yeah. And Batman loses.
What?
No, or is it? Well, they always do alternate endings.
Yeah, I know.
For this person and that person.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler.
Which is a great segue, too. We will be talking about Judge Dredd from 1995 and Dredd from 2012. So that means for both of those movies and the comic book, or the comic books, there's a possibility that
Any spoilers, and you're spending 2 years in the ISO cubes.
Yes.
The Juvie cube. The Juve cubes. Is that what he called them in part two? The Juve cubes.
Yeah. So, yes, there will be spoilers for both of these movies. You have been warned. If you want to skip past the spoilers, go to exactly 1 minute from the end.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's the episode. So, you ready to dive into this?
I'm ready to dive in.
All right, so I'm going to start it off with a simple question. Judge Dredd, who is he?
Judge Joseph Dredd? Is that who you're talking about? Or the other 1,200 clones that are apparently out there? All right, so Judge Joseph Dredd is a fictional character created by writer John Wagner and artist Carlos Esquerra. I think I said that right. He appears in 2000 AD. It's a British magazine. 1977 was when he debuted.
Issue number 2.
Issue number 2 of that, yes. He's a law enforcement and judicial officer in a dystopian future. It's a post-apocalyptic. There's these giant cities called megacities. I think this one spans from like up above New York down to Florida.
I found that this one spans from Boston down to DC.
Yeah,
housing roughly 400 million people.
Yeah, there's a couple different ones around in various comics and movies. It's smaller and bigger.
Both movies, I believe, are supposed to take place in that one.
Yeah, is it Mega City 1?
Yeah. Yep.
He's a street judge, so basically he can go around and he sees you doing something bad, he can judge you right on the spot. He'll either send you to the ISO cubes or he'll kill you. It's extreme law enforcement. He is a judge, jury, and executioner.
We call that martial law.
Yeah, he's empowered to give you arrest, convict you, sentence you, or execute you. Do whatever he wants. Sort of like an authoritative sort of government and like a comment on police brutality.
Yeah.
It came out at a different time than us now. Like, I don't think it would if it just came out now. And the interesting thing is in the comics, I didn't know this, I didn't write it down because I didn't find out till later. So Judge Dredd ages the same as what the comic books are coming out. So the Judge Dredd of the new comics that are coming out right now, he's old as dirt.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he ages.
So all the comics, no matter what series, it's following the same person.
Yes.
Like everything's canon.
Yeah, and they've actually done storylines where he's like in his 80s and
Everything
he has to deal with him getting older.
Like all of it's canon then. Something from...
I guess. Well, I don't know because DC has done stuff. Wildstorm has done, or I think Wildstorm or somebody. There, a lot of different companies have done it. But the ones from the AD, like whoever owns that company, that's all canon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When you got here, I was reading the Essential Origins. There's a lot of comic books. There's like thousands. It seems like Judge Dredd has faced Predator. He's faced Lobo, Aliens, Mars Attacks.
I did see. There's I think it's Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Alien. I want to find that one. I really want to read that one. That should be like good.
A fun time. I want a Punisher versus Judge Dredd. That's what I want. They did a RoboCop Terminator way back in the day, and we probably get that to our Terminator episode. We'll probably do. But I want to see like a Punisher. Like I want to see the Punisher go, dude, you need to like calm down, bro, or something. That
calm down. I am the law.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, geez. So Judge Dredd, 1995, directed by Danny Cannon.
Yeah, good old Danny Cannon.
What else did he do?
I don't know, but I'll tell you some trivia what he could have done.
Okay.
Music, Alan Silvestri did Predator. What was the budget on this one? $90,000?
90,000?
90,000.
90,000. I have $90 million to make this movie.
90 million. That's what I meant to say. 90,000. Then they may not have been so bad.
I have $90 million to make this movie, and then it turned around and grossed worldwide 113.5, at the time, making this a disappointment to the studio.
And in the U.S., it made 34.
That's
34
it?
million.
A third of what they spent?
Yeah, I'll give you a trivia nitpick here. Power Rangers beat it. Power Rangers made more money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mean that horrible version?
And so Danny Cannon was apparently approached to do Die Hard 3, turned it down to do this movie. Die Hard 3, the number 7 for 1995. This is like, I don't know, number 30 or 40 or something. Missed opportunity, but that might, who knows what that Die Hard movie would have looked like. We might have taken away that gem. Who's in this? Who is it? Because it's funny because apparently the teasers and all this leading up to the movie never talked about Stallone being in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So their promotion did great.
Yeah. So we have Sylvester Stallone, Diane Lane, and Armand Assante, which does that name sound familiar to you?
Armand Assante? Yeah, he was on a lot of 90s movies.
Okay, but so as soon as I read that, he plays, what is it, Rico. As soon as I read his name, I was like, wait a minute, I recognize that name, not from like another movie. In the Santa Claus, when he gets the list, and he's going down through it, he's like, Armand Assante? And it hit me. I'm like, holy crap, that. So I Googled it. Yes, it was a random little reference to him just as a joke.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how about that? Okay. Yeah, those are the three main characters. That's all I borrowed to write down.
What about Rob Schneider as Fergie? Or Jurgen Pachow as Judge Griffin? Max Van Sydow as Chief Justice Fargo?
I wonder what you have some.
Oh, okay. And Joanna Miles as Judge Magruder, I guess. There's a bunch of other people in here. Balthazar Getty. I tend to get that guy. He was super young in his career.
Oh, yeah. So was Rob Schneider.
Yeah, and this is not the guy. Yeah, Rob Schneider was doing SNL and stuff. Like, this was before like The Animal and all those movies.
We talked about this weeks ago now in the Lethal Weapon episode we did, and to me, Rob Schneider in this was like Joe Pesci back in Lethal Weapon.
I think he was less annoying than Joe Pesci.
You think so?
Slightly.
Joe Pesci's fine in the first. Some of his little one-offs were just. Okay, yeah, that wasn't even really funny, but...
Well, we'll get into some of the making when we get to the trivia of why some of that probably didn't work. Yeah. So what's the plot of this? Do you have a plot?
I do.
And I just want to say thank you to all the people again on the internet that write up these plots because I steal them and I read some of them.
Must be nice. I mean, I kind of tried to write my own.
Oh, you didn't just ask AI to do it for you this time?
Well, no, I put what I wrote into AI and said, hey, make this make sense. So
what do you got?
In the dystopian future of 2139, Mega City 1 is a sprawling, crime-ridden metropolis where law and order are maintained by the judges, a powerful police force with the authority to arrest, convict, and execute criminals on the spot. Judge Joseph Dredd, played by Sylvester Stallone, is one of the most feared and respected judges. Our plot thickens when... I didn't write that part, it did that. Our plot thickens...
Wait, you highlighted that.
When Dredd is framed for the murder of a journalist by his former friend and fellow judge, Rico, played by Armand Assante, who has turned rogue. With the help of his colleague, Judge Hershey, played by Diane Lane, and the... I don't like this one. The comedic sidekick, Fergie, played by Rob Schneider. I'm sorry, he just annoyed me in this movie. Dredd escapes from prison and sets out to clear his name. And then I have another little section about...
Not even what happened.
What?
It's not even what happened.
What do you mean?
He didn't escape from prison. He didn't even make it to prison.
Okay, well, okay.
And, oh, man, I love your plot here. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, no, the rest of it just...
Did you even watch the movie?
Yes. The rest of it just like a very brief spoiler of how it ends. So, but yes, I watched the damn movie.
I know we talked about it.
All right, fine. How did it happen? He escaped from police custody.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
All right.
Judge custody.
And
here, for everybody out there, let's have a little fun here.
His helmet off.
If anybody out there likes to listen to this podcast and just take a little sip here or there or anything, you know what? Every time somebody says the word judge or law, as in I am the law, take a drink for me.
If you want to get people really drunk, we have John on and say anytime he says the word like, take a shot.
Like what? Like
John, I love you, buddy, but when I was editing the last episode you were on, I thought you were a 15-year-old teenage girl from 2001. It was just like.
Yeah, well, we like John. We do.
We're gonna have to turn this into a drinking game. That'd be great. Anytime you think we're full of shit, take a shot.
Start chugging a bottle. And if anybody has any alcohol issues, call one of those fancy numbers and get some help.
Yes, please.
Yes, because drink responsibly.
That is true too.
Please drink responsibly. And don't be driving, man. Come on, man. Keep it
Killing the mood.
Yeah. So, well, listen, those are laws that you shouldn't be breaking. You know what I mean? Drinking and driving.
So the idea is basically that society is in such a horrible condition that we can't do policing and trials and jail time.
It wastes time.
The person that, the cop, so to speak, or the judge who comes across you, carries out sentence immediately by the book, and if the sentence is death, well, he has every right to just shoot you on the street.
Yeah, or blow up your Corvette looking thing.
Or blow up your Corvette because you didn't move it. That is true.
Yeah. So this movie has a couple different tones. Like you said, it is comedic. Supposedly, and I guess it's been thoroughly documented, that Stallone and this director did not get along at all. They couldn't stand each other. There's a couple of rewrites with as usual. That happens in Hollywood. This was supposed to be a super dark, dreary, dystopian movie, like the comics, bloody, gory. Stallone wanted to do a comedy. He wanted it to be funnier. Now he had just done in 1993 Demolition Man. Okay. So that was a very similar time. This spoiled, the director said after this that he was never going to work with like a spoiled actor like Stallone ever again, like a top-notch star. He didn't want to do anything like that.
Wow.
Again, Schwarzenegger was approached to do a movie like this. I read somewhere that years and years and years ago, this was supposed to be made, and instead they made RoboCop.
I can see the similarities there.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you like about this movie?
I really like the raw and gritty feeling that it gave you. That nobody...
You're allowed to say like if you actually like something, but if you say something that like you were gonna say, then maybe just get to the point.
Oh my gosh. I enjoyed the raw gritty feeling. It gave me the feeling that nobody was safe. I mean, we're 10 minutes into it, and you see the one recruit first day out on the streets get blown away. It's like, well, that's the kind of movie it's going to be, because they took the time to introduce us to him, give us a name, and the tiniest bit of, not backstory, but here he is, presenting him out to us, just to watch him get blown away.
Dunsies.
So, I mean, we knew Stallone was fine. The name of the movie, I mean, what was her name?
Diane Lane.
Yeah,
Hershey.
I didn't know. I figured I didn't know. And then later on, we do see some judges bite it, so...
Yeah, well, they said at one point, there's been 30, 40 judges killed in the last couple hours or something. Well, Rico, who is the cloned from Max von Sydow's character, they needed judges. So judges there wasn't enough to take care of things. So they were like, let's start cloning, because that's always the answer. Ask Star Wars. Let's just make some clones and we'll just take care of things. Well, so they're both made. They're both brothers. Rico turns bad. Judge Dredd has to judge him.
So Rico, his mentality reminded me of Minority Report in a way, stopping people before they commit the crime. But then I think he just started to just enjoy killing people.
Yeah, he was a little more psychopathic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was they even said his original intentions were punishing them before the crime's even committed.
Yeah. So he gets secretly broken out of a prison. He gets help to break out, and by another judge, Jürgen Pachow. Which, your little tidbit, every time this movie is dubbed anywhere that's in German, Jürgen or any of Stallone's movies, Jürgen Pachow is the one that does the German voice for Stallone. Yeah. So, okay. So I don't know if he dubbed did his voice and they did Stallone's voice for this in German. I don't know. Yeah. So Rico gets out. He's going to cause some havoc and to take out all the other judges, and he's going to have his own ruling thing. He wants power now. That's for that. What
was your favorite scene of the movie?
Favorite scene? Well, it wasn't the end scene. Or one of the end scenes, that's for sure. Favorite scene? I didn't even think of a favorite scene.
Well, then we'll just start with, what did you like about the movie, and now give you a few seconds to think about your favorite scene.
Favorite scene? Son of a bitch. I gotta start remembering favorite scenes, because you're gonna keep asking me that fucking question. My favorite scene, probably the entire mutant type scene where they're in the cursed earth and that they face the family.
Okay. The Hills Have Eyes thing.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, the one dude from The Walking Dead who drives the RV the first season. That guy Herschel, was that his name? Herschel.
No, Herschel's the farm owner. That was Dale.
Dale. Dale. Yeah, I think. I don't know if it's one of those guys. Pretty sure it's the same actor. If not, kill me in the comments. Yeah, I'd go with the mutants because it was, I think that scene had a decent balance. I think it was comedic and it was action and it was kind of gory and weird in a way. It's body horror.
Yeah.
I'll go with that scene. What was your favorite scene?
So my favorite scene was actually the Rico prison break. What do they call it?
Or are you messing with the warden?
ISO cube break, whatever. Well,
I think it was a penal colony or something is what they called it.
He gets this, looks like almost like a picture frame thing. It's a little box.
Oh, yeah.
Opens it up and, there's a picture. Hey, it's the guy standing in front of me. And then like in one motion, he just like a messed up Rubik's Cube, changes the little frame into a gun, shoots him in the throat.
Yeah.
The turrets that are voice activated
stand still.
Don't understand that this is the same guy.
Targeting.
Blow him away. I mean, it was just like everything was very cleanly done there.
I was curious why the technology didn't recognize more than a voice. Like,
that was a gunshot.
Wait, I don't know. Plot hole there. I didn't really think about till right now.
No, I really liked that scene though. That was the only scene I remembered from watching this movie when I was a young teenager. That's the only scene I could remember. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know what movie it was out of till I saw it again.
Wow.
I just remembered that like picture frame looking thing that turned into a gun.
I forgot about it all. It's been a long time. I think this is only the second or third time I've ever seen it. I had in my notes here that I was going to go with the bad stuff first and end with the good stuff because we always end with the bad stuff.
We'll do that in the next movie. So what are the bad stuff for you?
There was nothing else you liked about it?
I liked so much about it.
So much about it.
I
broke it down like the couple different things I liked.
Okay.
So one of the things I did like was the set design and music. I thought this was a very lived-in type city. It was gritty. It was dirty. The music from Alan Silvestri is big. Yeah. Apparently, he recorded the soundtrack twice. They didn't like the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like, that's a score we don't really care for. They had to do it again. And I did listen to both soundtracks on Spotify the other night just to check them out. There's some weird stuff. I didn't know that there was actually music on this Demolition Man. That's not the movie. This Judge Dredd movie.
Like lyrics?
Yeah, there's like songs, like The Cure. Apparently there's a band that was going to have a song, but when they were going to go record the song, their lead singer disappeared and was never found. So,
What band was that?
I'll have to look down through there's so many tidbits of trivia here. I'd have to
judged?
find it. Was he twanging, doing the weird twanging? Yeah, he's gone.
That's messed up.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seemed like it's kind of borderline because there was a couple parts. It was almost like a Joel Schumacher Batman thing, but then it seemed like they pulled back a little bit and made it realistic. There is some CGI stuff, but this is 1995.
Yeah.
I'll give it kind of, and it's really what he's riding the Lawmaster and he's swooping down, I guess, is when the CGI is kind of weird. But yeah, that's the first thing I liked about it was the music and the sets. I thought that was good. Anything else for you?
I really like the concept of his gun, how it's voice and DNA activated.
Yeah, palm. Well, this says DNA. The other ones say it's a palm reader in the comics. It reads your palm print.
Okay.
But either way, in the comic, I was reading 3 dudes got their arms blown off. So
it's just one of those things where like the technology in this world, even though it's a dystopian world and things are just run down, they're still incredibly advanced.
There was AI for the motorcycle? For the Lawmaster?
They had that, Rico reactivated that big Terminator looking dude.
My next thing here is the ABC Warrior.
Yeah, okay.
That's what he's called. That's the part that I remembered as a kid because I loved that war. Like, he just looked so... It's funny that Schwarzenegger was supposed to play because, like, this dude looked like a Schwarzenegger robot. He has slight emotion. He gets kind of grumpy for a second. He's not, like, stupid, but he's not, like, super smart, but he's... I don't know. There's, like, a personality to this robot.
Now, was he supposed to be an AI or just a robot that follows commands?
When he's talking to him, it's like he's telling him to follow commands. But like when he does something with Jurgen Pachow and like the robot kind of cocks his head and looks at him funny. And I was like, wait a minute, like he's actually kind of with it. He's not just standing there. Like he was gonna pull Hershey's arms off, but then he was like, are you sure this is what you want me to do for a second?
That was the scene that got me when he told me, he's like, tear his limbs off, head last.
That's what Jurgen.
Make sure he feels it or whatever. And I'm just like, what?
And then the camera turns and you see like the stuff drop. Like that's Dudine dismembered, drawn and quartered is like not like that. That can't be fun.
What was this movie rated back then? PG-13?
So funny you ask, because it is PG-13. They had to recut, or maybe it is rated R. All I know is it had to be recut 3 times because the MPAA was like, dude, you gotta take this stuff out. Take this stuff out. It's too violent. It's too gory. Stallone sitting here trying to make a comedy. Kane is trying to make it a bloody, gory movie. I think Stallone probably ended up more winning in the end because, you know.
It says here, well, according to IMDb, in the end, it was a rated R. 1 hour, 36 minutes.
So it is rated R, but it's a light R in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had to keep cutting out parts. I don't know specifically what parts, but yeah, they keep chopping it down. And when it comes to like the comedy stuff, despite those issues that there are some weird cheesy one-liners, you know, I think all of the cast, Pacho, Max, Lane, Asante, I think they all had energy. Asante, when he's giving that monologue at the end, when he's just like, fuck the law, man. You know, he's just, and he's in shape. Apparently he had watched some Stallone movies or something and tried to emulate Stallone because he knew they were clone brothers. He tried to speak in a way like with his, like the way the speech patterns is. He tried to mimic Stallone as much as he could.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I feel like these people are going in here not thinking this is going to not make much money. This is going to be, a lot of people are going to trash it for years. They're thinking that, well, man, he just did Demolition Man. Like, this is going to be great. This is going to be another Running Man. This is going to be another.
So they thought it was going to ride on Sylvester Stallone's fame and coattails and pull this one up in the ranks.
Yeah. You know, Max von Sydow did not phone it in. Diane Lane isn't phoning it in. Like, nobody's really phoning it in this movie. And I know you say you don't like the Rob Schneider stuff, but like, he's not really, he's doing Rob Schneider.
Yeah. I mean, he did great as his part. I just didn't like his character.
And it's funny, we were talking about Joe Pesci because he was approached to play him.
Fergie.
And he's like, I don't know about this stuff, sci-fi. He's like, that's not my thing. So Stallone, I don't know if he'd done SNL at the time or maybe he'd just seen it, but he'd met Rob Schneider somewhere and he said, hey, let's get this guy, and offered it to him. And that's
so was this one of Rob Schneider's like early movie roles?
It was.
Okay.
And early in this movie, he falls down steps and got injured on set.
Oh, jeez.
And he complained at one point that there's with the flamethrower and they're going through the windmill there to get into the city, that he didn't have any protection on his back, but Stallone had like a couple layers of protection. And like, he's like, I didn't have shit. Like, they're protecting this guy, but I didn't have nothing. I could have got burnt.
So how do you think this film holds up today? I mean, it's what, 95?
I think it surprisingly holds up. Now, I mean, it's not perfect. It never was a perfect movie, but
I mean, it's going on what?
It's not The Fifth Element.
25 years old.
Yeah. I mean, The Fifth Element comes out in 97, a couple years after this, right? And I feel like that movie took a lot of the hover taxis and everything. I feel like this movie was trying to do like a Blade Runner type thing that maybe didn't quite get where it wanted to be, you know, a Total Recall type deal. But even looking at those movies in this one with the lower budget, because this one had a lot, I would assume a lot less budget than some of those ones did. Maybe I'm wrong. Visually, I think it's still kind of there. I mean, I just watched it a couple days ago, and I was like, there's some movies. I'm watching those horror movies, watching some of the older ones. So I'm like, man, I don't know. Some of these scenes are like pretty bad. You know, the effects are just bad. I tell you what, there's some movies that have come out in like probably the last 15 years with CGI'd characters that if you watch it now, you're like, oh man, like that's like watch Underworld, like 2 or something. Those CGI does not add up as well as this movie does. Be mad at me. We just watched some Alien movies that came out in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And some of those are already looking sort of dated in ways. I think this one does. And there is a lot of practical effects in here. So,
yeah. And I do want to apologize. I said it's nearing 25 years. I guess this is 2024. So it's nearing 30 years old.
Yeah.
I think this fell victim to the, you could almost call it like the Jurassic Park effect, where they really utilized CGI in the movie. And I feel like they tried to fit too much of it in this and didn't go the way
I didn't see a lot of CGI in this movie.
I feel like they could have gone more practical effects on a lot of the stuff.
What's CGI? I'm curious because I don't remember seeing a lot of CGI in here, and I was looking for it. Like, what CGI did you really see in this?
Like the bullets or whatever flying around. I mean, it kind of reminded me of like early Star Wars. Like the
Okay.
whatever it was that Rico used to break out, it was like a pink plasma ball or something like that. The backdrop with all the flying cars and stuff. I mean, I understand.
Yeah, the matting.
Yeah,
the
I
screen
understand
matting
it's
and stuff. Yeah.
You know, it's difficult, but they could have easily done a more practical style street level view instead of flying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in '97, like Fifth Element takes a lot of stuff they do here and they make it better. They make it so much more believable in a way. And I know I was praising the set design and stuff here, and I still think it's good. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about the overall cityscape and the matting and things.
Yeah.
There wasn't, I don't know.
I just think it could have been better. I feel like that for the time, they were like, this is amazing. But yeah, they didn't think like we do today about, well, what's that going to look like in 20 years?
Right. Well, there's still movies now that can't even stand up to Star Wars, the first one, A New Hope.
Sharknado.
Yeah. I just watched the Under Paris shark movie. It's all in French.
Yeah.
Dubbed. It's actually not that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
It's actually not that bad.
All right, moving on. Anything else that you liked, didn't like?
Liked or didn't like. Kind of the forced comedy. I feel like Stallone was trying to do like a Schwarzenegger one-liner deal here at an occasion. Didn't really care for that. When he says, I knew you were going to say that. Dude, he says that so many times in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Even Diane Lane at the end's like, I'm going to say that too. You know, I was like, oh, they killed that to death. It was too much. Like I had already said, it tried to replicate a lot of sci-fi movies around the time. And I feel like it fell short a little bit. I mean, it still stands up, but it's still not in the caliber of like, say, Total Recall or Running Man. It's not there. It's not Fifth Element. It's not Running Man. I already said Blade Runner, all those. It's not there.
Oh,
The Final Battle.
Oh, those fantastic movies, though.
Yeah, definitely. The Final Battle.
Ah, yeah.
Tossing a bad guy off a roof into a pit of nothingness or onto a street is just getting old. And even in 95, it was getting old. How many times are we just going to see somebody get pulled off or dropped off of a ledge? And just like, even there, like they could have had such a better ending to this movie. And that pissed me off. However, the regular ending where he says, I'm just a street judge, I don't want the power. He does, in the comics, he refuses it too.
Mm-hmm.
They ask him and he's like, no, I'm not taking it. So that was nice that they kept in there. I did appreciate that there's a lot of storylines from the comics brought in here and just kind of mishmashed together. Now, I've talked about medium changes from comics to this or that to that. And so now everything's perfect. People are going, talking about, well, his uniform's a different color, or his eagle's not the right size, or his badge. Well, this isn't the comic book. This is a movie.
Not enough bright green.
Yeah, like, come on. Let's chill here.
I thought the outfits and the costumes in this movie were great.
Yeah, well, they're over exaggerated in the comics.
Exactly. Like
this is a little more practical.
Shoulder pads.
Like, how's he supposed to like even move his arm with an eagle that goes all the way down to his elbow? Like, what are you supposed to do there? This was a little bit better, I think. I appreciated them bringing all the stuff from the comics in, and I didn't really know until I did research. Like, oh, that's in the movie. That's in the movie. Oh, that's in the movie. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I recommend people go and read some of these comics. They're actually pretty decent.
They were, yeah. I started with the DC pickup of them, the first DC ones. And I mean, you first meet Judge Dredd. He's driving off a roof into a blimp because it was stolen, but simply because it was breaking the air code. It was too low. And then ends up, murdering everybody, ramping his bike back off of the blimp because it's now on fire and crashing right through the window of somebody's kitchen. And like he's sitting in their living room, the guy's flipping out on about like, oh, you judges, maybe I'll do something about it. And he's just like, 6 months of rehab, turn yourself in.
Well, it's kind of like we did with this Corvette guy here. He's like for like double parking or wherever it was.
Yes.
It's like, you got to be kidding me. And then he just like blows it up.
No matter the situation in the comics or in the movies, if there's an infraction, he's going to judge it.
Yeah, he's a stickler in the comics.
Yeah.
He definitely is. IMDb, what do you got?
IMDb, I have a 5.6 out of 10.
22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ouch. And what do you personally give it?
7.
A 7, really?
Yeah, give it a 7. 7's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's a good movie. Give it a 7.
All right, I'll agree with that. 6.5.
It's a low 7.
I only would give it a lower 7, 6.5 because it is dated.
It's a fun movie. My overall thought is it's still a fun movie.
It still holds up really well, I think.
You don't have to think about it much. It's just explosions, jokes, more explosions. There you go. Flying cars, people getting shot. It's a simple, fun popcorn
Yes.
movie. So do you have any behind the scenes trivia or anything on this?
I don't. I do for the next one, but not for this one.
Okay, well, I'll try to breeze through what I do have.
Oh, and real quick, one more scene I didn't like was the ending when he said he's a street cop. That was okay, but when he drove his motorcycle through the crowd of judges, it's
A little cheesy.
like come on.
It's a borderline cheesy movie for sure. Definitely.
That's like your classic Western when he rides the horse out of town. Like, dude.
Well, listen, the creator, I'm glad you keep bringing these things up to remind me. So way back in the day, before this was even thought about being a movie, like by studios, somebody asked the creators and writers and stuff, like, who do you think would even play a Judge Dredd if they even did something like that? Clint Eastwood is what they said. Let's get Clint Eastwood to do it.
Oh,
I mean, think about it. This guy comes out in 77. They're probably asking him back in like the 80s.
I'd say a young Clint Eastwood, like.
They can get his son, Scott Eastwood, or we can just get Karl Urban back, but we're not there yet. Got some thoughts later on. Little info behind the scenes. Diane Lane refused to do a nude scene in this movie. You want to know why?
Why?
Because she said that Stallone, long story short, that he was in too good a shape, and she said that she was not good look. She did not want her ass next to his ass on screen. She said, I had the phobia that they were going to get my butt on screen at the same time as Sylvester Stallone's. The actress was later quoted as saying, I'm like Judge Bone, and he's got these cinder block glutes. I cannot be on camera at the same time with him.
Wow.
So yeah, Diane Lane. And listen, Diane Lane, you are aging like fine wine, and you should respect your body, but
See, I always thought she would have made a good Wonder Woman.
she would have. I've always been, and
Yeah.
she's a great actress, dude. She's
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal. I love Diane Lane. Everything she's in. I may not love the movie, but I love everything that she does. Like, she's just good actress. She's believable. Passion, energy. That's what you need for acting.
Yeah.
And she brings it, and I think people in this movie did.
Actually, funny little side note. She plays the voice of the mom in Inside Out.
Nice. Well, just another reason for me to watch it.
That's just amazing how that just pulled together like that. I didn't even think about that.
There was a different ending, a violent ending. Apparently in this ending, now listen, I found this site. I'll have to look at the name here. It's like that 80s something. So they did a lot of this behind the scenes. So I'll find your name and shout out to you. It says the quest for a lower age rating meant that Judge Dredd's original ending, which showed Dredd fighting and killing clone judges, was completely removed. Remember, there was a bunch of those judges. Yeah. There was a lot of stuntmen and prosthetics and things because they were doing the Janus Project. That's from the comic books. We're bringing it in here. But other dark, violent scenes to be left on the cutting room floor included one that showed the warrior robot killing Judge Griffin by ripping off his arms and legs. So, like, he's murdering everybody.
Yeah. He's got a thing for dismemberment or what?
I don't know. Oh, British music. That's Judge Dredd's closing credits uses the track Dread Song by an alternative British rock band, The Cure, but the soundtrack also nearly contained the last song ever to be written by a missing star. The song Judge Yourself, YR apostrophe self, written by the Manic Street Preachers, was the last song to be written by the band. Its former member, Richie Edwards, who went missing on February 1st, 1995 and was declared presumed dead.
Never found.
Never found. It's widely considered this is Stallone's worst movie.
Cartel.
Yeah. Well, this isn't Narco. Like, people were killed after that show. Like, what do you... maybe don't mess with the Mexican cartels.
Yeah.
How about you just leave them alone?
So is this considered his worst movie?
Yeah.
That review obviously came out before The Expendables. I did not like those movies.
They're something.
Expendable?
Yeah, they're something.
I mean, that's disappointing because all in all, I did not think it was a bad movie. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining.
What do you think his worst movie is? Do you think it is? Would you choose The Expendables as his worst movie? Because I would take Prison Break 2.
I saw the first one, not the second one.
It's so bad. It is
that where they're
absolutely horrendous.
Like the jail cells are like floating cubes.
Yeah, the first one has Schwarzenegger in it, and then the second one he has a team to go break somebody out, and it's the acting shit. The editing is shit. The music is shit. The CGI is shit. Everything, the action scenes, everything about that movie is dog shit. I'm sorry. I don't know who wrote it. I'm sure you guys tried hard.
Why don't you tell us how you really feel about that?
That movie sucks hard.
Jeez.
I give that movie a 3. Like, it is bad. I will never rewatch that movie. I was glad I didn't go to the theaters to watch it. It didn't make it to theaters, and I can understand why. And the biggest thing, we didn't even talk about this.
Do you mean Escape Plan?
Escape Plan 2, Prison Break 2, whatever. Yeah, Prison Break's apparently
Prison Break was a TV show.
Yeah.
That was a good, I liked the first couple seasons. That was good.
Yeah, Dominic Purcell and all those guys. Yeah. Judge Dredd takes off his helmet in this. People were mad.
Yep.
As mad as John about Master Chief taking off.
I have that written down. That's exact same argument.
I think it's a little bit different. Now the whole idea is Judge Dredd has this helmet on and he only shows his chin because they want him to just, all these judges, first off, you don't want, if you get a chance to kill somebody's family, you know, you don't see their face, you take that opportunity away. And so in the comics, he never takes it off. There's even a panel that I saw where he's getting like whipped and beaten and he still has his helmet on. Like all the other judges have their helmet off. He doesn't take his off. He just doesn't do it. And I guess a lot of people are mad. I didn't understand the anger until I started doing research on this because I was just like, whatever. Like I didn't read the comics at the time. I didn't even know.
Right.
I knew who Judge Dredd was. I knew the comics existed. Yeah, there's like some like Frank Frazetta artwork. Have you ever seen some of those comic book covers, man?
Yeah.
Like, he's just, yeah. So like I knew that he existed. I just didn't know the importance of the helmet. And there's like a whole thing where I'm reading the past about all the clones and his uncles and everybody. And like, oh, we have the same chin, the same chin, the same chin. They keep saying, like, as you recognize him by his chin, you know, and
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh shit. I got to take a drink. Hold on here. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get it, but a lot of people were really mad. So that's a behind the scenes thing. This is the first movie to be released at the same time as the video game. Apparently there was a Judge Dredd video game. I had no idea. I'm not a gamer. Did you know there was a Judge Dredd?
No, but now I kind of want to look for like an old emulator or something.
Yeah. I
wonder what was like Nintendo. Like,
I didn't even look into it. I had no idea.
I'm looking into it right now.
So Hammer.
Maybe we'll get a hold of Elliot, his new video game store, and see if he has a copy.
That'd be hilarious if he did. So the Hammerstein, the mutant dude of the scene I like, to bring him to life, they were going to use a man in a suit, but Director Cannon insisted that they need to build it for real. And they actually used like hydraulics and had remote operators. I guess there was like 5 of them to run it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the practical effects they did.
That looked good.
Let me kill him, Paul. You know, just that whole thing. That was good stuff. It was good stuff. Now, when Max von Sydow shows up, I keep forgetting his name, even though he's a very important character to the lore. When he shows up and just gets shot, like this dude's getting shot, right? I didn't remember it as a kid, but here I was like, oh, I forgot that he shows back up. Boom, dead. You know, almost dead. So.
It was. I think it wasn't a gunshot. It was like a sword or something like that, like right up through his back.
Yeah, maybe. He's.
It was the guy with the weapon arm or whatever.
I will say this about the sets. What's up with the Statue of Liberty that was apparently built 20% bigger? The head was like that Statue of Liberty. They said something about a big power surge, and they put the Statue of Liberty over it because apparently that's where the cloning process was going on. That part was like, what? We're gonna use the Statue of Liberty. Really?
I think they should redo the Statue of Liberty's head, make it like 5 times bigger, and make it a giant bobblehead.
No, that'd mess with, it's the same as the traffic circles make tornadoes.
Oh, yeah.
This would make earthquakes.
Tsunamis.
Yeah, that's because it's on the bay. Yep, tsunami. So,
and
traffic circle, get out of here. Shut up, people. Just stop it.
Max von Sydow played
Sydow.
Judge Fargo.
Fargo, yes. I just saw him in Needful Things, too. Stephen King's Needful Things. Good movie. He's a great actor. Wasn't he in Minority Report as well? You're talking about that movie. Doesn't he play the one dude? I'm pretty sure he's in Minority Report. Because he kills
he was
Colin Farrell, doesn't he?
He was Emperor Ming in Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm not going to make people angry, or maybe.
Yes, he was director Lamar Burgess in 2002's Minority Report.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked in that movie when, like, all of a sudden he just kills what's his face. I was like, damn, dude, you still got Colin Farrell, homie. Colin Farrell's on a tear. That's when his career was doing really good. Not that it's doing bad now, but
oh, well, I didn't realize this. He was also the 3-eyed Raven in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, in the first
couple seasons. Yeah,
well, no, they had some weird dude. Then when they brought him to actually have more scenes, he played him. Because the first dude was like some
Okay.
creepy looking old dude. I was like, dude, that's some creepy looking shit. And then brought Max in for whatever season was next. Probably like season 3 or something. Yeah, so I was talking about the Die Hard with Vengeance. So that movie made 100 million US, where instead of 35 that Judge Dredd made.
Wow.
They're naming stuff
Refresh me. Die Hard with a Vengeance was
like 3. That's with
Simon.
Simon Says.
Okay, yeah. Great movie.
Fantastic
Great movie.
I'm glad it didn't have anybody else do it because
Samuel L. Jackson. I feel like him and Bruce Willis, that dynamic brought that movie. It was so good.
imagine making that movie with Stallone and Rob Schneider.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
What?
Because Bruce Willis's character is in Russia somewhere doing something.
No, we're gonna remake that movie. We're gonna use Mel Gibson
And Danny Glover.
and Danny Glover.
It's funny you should say that.
The whole time, Mel Gibson's gonna be saying, "I'm on vacation," and Danny Glover's gonna say, "I'm too old for this shit."
Yes, I'm on vacation.
You know, I would actually watch that.
I would, because I love the Lethal Weapon movies. There's some shout outs like to some comedians and some actors. They talk about being at the corner of Abbott and Costello, the corner of Burns and Allen, which I thought that was. I'm glad that they're talking about actors and stuff, but I thought it was dumb. I was like, I didn't need that blatant. Who's gonna name the crossroads Abbott and Costello? Like,
I don't know.
somebody's gonna email me and be like, "Yo, I live at the corner of Abbott and Costello."
Oh, you know it's out
LA.
there somewhere.
No, probably. So apparently in comics, Fergie is not so comedic. He is a top dog criminal. Like he has a criminal empire and stuff. Like they changed that for the movie big time. The poor dude just got out of jail, man. Like he was a hostage.
Yep.
And he gets sent right back to jail.
Was it like tampering with city equipment?
Yeah.
5 years. He's like, come on, man.
And how about the dude on the plane very easily breaks out of his robo-cuffs?
Yeah.
So there's just like, there's so much trivia. I definitely recommend you guys going online. There's like websites dedicated to all the behind this. There's just so much. I would be sitting here for like another 2 or 3 hours talking about like what type of gun he had and how they repurposed SUVs. And there's so many things that went into the making of this movie. And apparently there's a documentary the making of Judge Dredd somewhere. I didn't know until a couple days ago, so I didn't go and find it. There's a lot of stuff out there, and I recommend you guys go find it. I don't recommend this movie. I do. Do you recommend this movie to somebody?
Yeah, absolutely, I would.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this very important question.
Okay, let's do this.
Who would you cast Adam Sandler as?
In this movie, who would I
We are going to cast him in a movie one.
I mean, it'd be very easy to put him as Fergie.
nah.
But no, I'm going to change Judge Hershey to a man, and I'm going to have it be Adam Sandler. Because we're going to have a bad boy situation going on now. It's going to be like a Martin Lawrence, Will
I
Smith.
feel like Dredd would have just killed him himself.
Probably. Yeah,
All
that's what I would do. I'd make him a judge.
All right, I'll take that.
Or just put a cameo and have him Balthazar Getty's character that finds out the photo's fake.
There you
It's
go.
like, but if this is the fake one, or if this is the wrong one, why is it so fake? And she's like, what? Yeah, man, let's move on for sure. Let's move into Dredd. Let's journey back to 2012. Directed by Pete Travis. Music by Paul Leonard Morgan, who did Limitless and a bunch of other video games. Budget, 50 mil. What did it bring in worldwide? You always like to do the worldwide. I do domestic.
I do. Like you said, budget to make $50 million. Worldwide, it brought in $41.5 million.
Yeah, domestic only 13.
It was a massive financial loss, and yet received incredibly positive reviews.
Let's just jump to the ratings real quick, shall we? Because I know Rotten Tomatoes is 80%, so why don't you just tell me what that IMDb is? Because this is kind of weird that it did make a bunch of money. However,
This is one of those movies. It's a 7.1 on IMDb compared to the 5.6 of Judge Dredd.
and 20% of Rotten Tomatoes compared to 80%.
This is one of those rare movies where it did not do well in theaters, and I think it's because of the reputation the last one had. But once people actually saw it and got talking about it, it might have been too late, but they started a mass following on it as soon as it hit. I guess streaming wasn't big back then, but hit DVD, stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Because
think
there's a huge
I saw it on DVD. I didn't see it in the theaters. I don't think I had the opportunity, the time to go see it, and I wanted to.
So I remember very, very fondly. I first saw this movie 2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Well.
And yeah, we'll get into that. But real quick one to touch on. You said about the music, the soundtrack, you know, dead on for this movie. I thought every little piece, every little sound effect, everything about this movie audio wise was just perfection.
Well, like I said, I listened to them on Spotify, both of them. I did skip through a little bit of this one because it's very EDM, techno type, you know, digital things.
Any lyrics?
No.
Okay.
It's just, I don't think there's any actual songs on this one.
No
Yeah,
Cure?
But some of and the reason it's sort of weird is there was a lot of music when they go on the slow-mo trips. They actually slow. I can't remember.
I have details.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah. We'll get into that because I thought that was just amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But yeah. So what we should do is we should take your Spotify playlist and because you can share it.
I can
post it on the in the YouTube description for this video so people can go see like all the music scores that you like.
Remind me to do that.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I should.
Or people will be like, "Hey, you suck."
Well, let's get to the cast that doesn't suck here. We have Dredd, played by Karl Urban. Cassandra Anderson, played by Olivia Thirlby. Lena Headey plays Madeline Mama Madrigal. Madrigal, in case you didn't recognize that name, is from the Halo TV series.
This is true.
Yeah. I don't know if that's where they got it, but...
And in case you didn't recognize Lena Headey, she's from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I guess she started Game of Thrones 2011.
Cersei Lannister.
Yeah.
She was playing it a year before this movie, so she had been double dipping.
Double
Because
dipping.
if this came out in 12,
If there's one
she was
thing,
filming this in 11.
one thing the Baratheons know about, and the Lannisters, they know about double dipping.
But so we first see her, first episode of Game of Thrones, and her brother push a kid out a window.
The things he does for love.
We first see her in this movie, and they're throwing people off a roof. What is it with her?
The things you do for drugs. Wood Harris is, speaking of people getting tossed off the building, Wood Harris is in this. I've seen him in some bit parts, and I think the guy's underrated. Really, he's a good actor.
I give you that.
I do find it strange that after he gets arrested in this, he doesn't talk for like 20 minutes of the movie. But
Hey, he had the easiest script.
Yeah, and then we have Don Domhnall Don Hall Gleason, who's the son of Brian Gleason. Great actor.
Oh, okay.
He's in New York, Brian Gleason.
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy. Yeah, he plays the unnamed computer expert, the Digi Eyes.
Do you know who I thought that was at first?
Who? DJ Qualls.
I thought that was one of the twins from the Harry Potter movie.
Oh, you thought that was a Weasley?
I
Diddy Rose.
I had to look it up.
Hand-me-downs.
I had to look it up. I thought it was one of the twins, and then I realized it's not.
They definitely should have. Well, we're just gonna say he was an ancestor of a Weasley. Dude, what would happen in the Judge Dredd universe with nuclear warfare? Like with the wizarding world. I looked for like a name. Apparently it doesn't have a name. It's just the wizarding world.
Yeah.
What would happen? Like, would they end up with like mega cities, like mega Hogwarts? Like, how would all the wizards and everybody be affected by something like this?
Well, like their force fields keep out magic, but does it keep out radioactive fallout?
Right. Or like nuke after nuke after nuke. I don't know.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a Harry Potter episode.
So there's the cast. Why don't you give me one of those wonderful plots?
I don't think you can handle my plot.
You can't handle the plot.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, shit. I got a drink. Hold on.
I keep forgetting about that. All right. Don't look at me because you're going to make me laugh. Let me look at it real quick. Okay. Should I do my really, really bad announcer voice?
In a world gone mad.
All right. In the dystopian future of Mega City 1, a vast, crime-ridden metropolis stretching from Boston to Washington, D.C., the judges serve as the ultimate authority. With the power to arrest, convict, and execute criminals on the spot, Judge Dredd, played by Karl Urban, is one of the most formidable and feared judges in the day. You notice how AI kind of made that very similar to the other one?
Yeah, I have some issues with AI's couple comments there. But yeah, I mean, that's basically the movie. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of my gripes with the movie.
The story follows Dredd as he's tasked with evaluating a rookie judge, Cassandra Anderson, played by
Olivia
Thirlby.
Thirlby.
But the L was before the B.
I don't know. I always said Thirlby.
Olivia.
Liv.
Who possesses powerful psychic abilities Together, they respond to a triple homicide in the 200-story slum tower known as
Peach trees.
Peach Trees, controlled by the ruthless drug lord Mama, played by Lena Headey.
I'm pretty sure they came up with peach trees because they were at a restaurant workshopping some things when they were writing this, and I think the restaurant was called Peach Trees.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I have more, but it basically just goes into the plot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the basic plot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what gets everything going.
Sure is.
So Olivia Thirlby, or whatever her name is blonde in this.
Maybe it is Thoroughly.
When everything else I've seen her in, she was always a brunette.
Well, I'll just say it now. She's also in Why the Last Man. Got cut short. Didn't get a second season. Kind of some horse shit. This still hasn't gotten a sequel. Kind of some horse shit. Somebody's messing with her career, and I don't like it. So how about, we always kind of talk about what we like about this first. Let's talk about what we don't like. Let's end this episode on a better note. Let's talk about the stuff we don't like about this movie. What kind of irritated you about this movie?
Mama's teeth.
Well, she wore prosthetics.
That was
100%
100% meth teeth.
Well, I think slow-mo does that. I mean, they're inhalers with like Coca-Cola looking shit, like melted down cola.
And they did even say on the one dead body, he looked in the lip and he's like, oh, it's an inhaler burn.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's see. What did I not like?
I know there's so much about this movie you couldn't stand. I remember you like texting me being like, this is trash.
I did not. No. So I really enjoyed this movie. I did. But the first thing that I can think of when I think of, okay, what did I not care for was, at least early on, the CGI'd blood. Like, someone gets shot in the neck and you see it looks like bright red ketchup launching out at like 100 mile an hour. Like,
yeah, it was
that really early attempts at like over the top CGI that just...
Well, it wasn't quite 300 that Lena Headey was in where it just disappeared, but it still wasn't, like perfect.
Yeah. It was too red. Yeah.
Too. My first thing I didn't like, fear. Karl Urban does great as Judge Dredd, but in the comics, he's supposed to be like mythological in a way of how feared he is everywhere. And even your synopsis and even my synopsis talks about how he's one of the most feared judges out there. He's not really feared that much in this movie. Like, he's got some respect.
He's got the reputation.
Yeah, they bring him to the Academy. He's like, hey, listen, which I like that both movies bring him to the Academy.
Yeah.
For a minute, like the one he has to teach, and this one they're here, like, you need to take this rookie, make sure she's good enough.
Well, even in that DC comic I was reading, the first issue, they bring him to the Academy and they put 3 recruits under him.
It must be a reoccurring theme for him. But like when the judges show up, the bad judges to take him on, he's like, well, I want a million credits. And she's like, well, that's pretty steep. And he's like, well, do you know who it is? So yeah, he does have a reputation, but he doesn't have like that reputation. Like in the first one, they're like, oh my God, it's Judge Dredd. Holy shit. Like it's that what? Oh my God, it's you here. Like he's just a street judge, and maybe, just maybe this is, and I don't know if we'll ever get a sequel to this, but maybe he's just early in his career. Maybe he didn't reach that stature. Maybe the Rico Genius Project recovery, because they don't talk about any of that in this movie. Maybe that stuff he doesn't know about any of that yet.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe Rico would have already happened, like, because they were like 15 when they joined the force. But like maybe he doesn't know about the cloning.
He's still in the ISO cube.
Yeah, but he's just not, he doesn't have that stature. That kind of bugged me.
I would like it if they somehow did a sequel that tied them together. Like actually put both movies into full continuity together.
Well, they've talked about, possibly doing a TV show. They were going to do a Mega City 1 TV show that years ago, and it just like 5-6 years ago, it just never happened.
Okay.
But they talked about bringing Karl Urban in to like just sprinkle him in as Judge Dredd, but then also having Stallone somehow do a cameo role somewhere. That was in the cards, but it's just never came to fruition.
Wow.
So, what else didn't you like about it?
There was a few scenes Now, it could have just been my computer, but I just thought it was very dark. It's a little hard to see a few things.
Digital copies are weird, especially in dark movies like this. Like, you see in the background, it's kind of like you can see the digital grading.
Yes,
grayscale.
exactly, yes.
Yeah, and I think that's just the cop, yeah.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of it was gorgeous, but
I don't take the time to buy 4K Blu-ray, whatever the hell they are.
There's a lot of it that just, it felt overly dark, and I had to kind of really get in there to see exactly what was going on. But I mean, I can't complain. It wasn't like a Batman movie where the whole thing's at night. I mean, most of this was
dimly
daytime,
lit,
but dimly lit. Yeah. What about you?
My second thing is read my mind. So there's mutants here.
Geez.
So there's mutants, and I understand, even for the comics, there's mutants, the nuclear fallout, all those things, the Cursed Earth. Oh, we forgot to say the Cursed Earth. James Earl Jones does the intro in the Sylvester version.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, it was James Earl Jones. I was like,
man.
dude, that's dope. That's dope. That's James Earl Jones. But no, like here, I'm not saying that it's out of the realm of possibility for me to believe that there's a psychic cop out there. And they even say, oh, she's a mutant, or they're talking mean about her because everybody hates a mutant. You know, whatever. Maybe she's a descendant of Professor X. Maybe Logan's going to walk through at some point here. There'll be another possible movie with Karl Urban and him together. But anyhow, they don't really explain how does okay, everything else is pretty grounded for the most part. It's pretty grounded. But she has Professor X abilities.
Yeah.
Like, she can just go into somebody's mind. Like, they don't really explain how that's possible. Like, how does nuclear radiation just give you that over time?
Right.
And they don't even say it's nuclear radiation. It could have been some other thing they were doing in society. I don't know.
Mutations like we saw in the first one.
They
Like,
could have given me just a 3-minute.
like having Hills Have Eyes style family. Okay, I understand
Make me baby.
radiation. But to give you like, that'd be like
Psychic
saying
abilities?
nuclear fallout's going to make you fly.
Well, listen, I was going to take an ant outside and hit it with radiation, have it bite me so I could have like ant powers because that's how radiation works. Or get hit with some cosmic rays and I can stretch around. Science and comics are so
True story, man.
so
True.
sound.
It's true.
Yeah. So that kind of got me. Is there anything else for you? And listen, all these things are not huge for me because I do enjoy this movie for sure.
So one thing I didn't care for, I liked it, but I didn't care for it. I thought it was really over the top that I know you probably loved. The incredibly over excessive amount of gore. Like,
I agree with what you said.
they completely went for the shock factor.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it gets into what I liked, and what I liked was they were going for that extremely raw and gritty comic book feel, and because all of that is in the comic book, they don't shy away.
No, they do not.
So,
not at all.
But I mean, like, when you see,
But you're not that type of guy.
like, you see the lady with the baby carriage, all of a sudden these bodies start slamming the pavement. It wasn't like you see.
I'm laughing now just thinking about this scene.
But it wasn't like you see it go past, but you hear it, you don't see it because it falls out of frame. No, it's just like splat, and you see it spread out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, they
Like
just did that. Oh, there's another one.
When her face hits at the end and they have it on clear and it just like real life, it just kind of like pours, like the blood just pours out.
It just like shreds apart.
Yeah. Oh man. Just amazing.
I mean, it was very well done, and it was all practical effects.
Well, before I give you the last thing that I hate, because the thing I like is right underneath it, I wrote bloody violence. This movie is rough, it's gritty, it's gory, and it's mean. It's a violent city that is showcased well without being silly or fake looking or over the top. This place is so fucking dirty and gross, and I loved it. It's all out violence and the death. It just made it fun to watch. And that's something you didn't like. It's too bloody. I don't like it. That's
I mean,
okay.
I did, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. When he tries to use, what was her name, Anderson's gun, and it blows his hand off, I laughed. I mean, because we all knew it was coming.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It's hard for me to explain why I didn't. There's parts I liked and parts I didn't.
Well, that's why we separate them here. That's why we're talking about it. But let's talk about those stupid Keystone cops. Okay.
Oh my word.
Because so Judge Anderson and Dredd, they get out there. They're finally at the skate park.
Yeah.
There's things are blowing up and there's a skate park.
Like,
I'm not making this up.
yeah, it's like
Go
80 stories above the ground too.
Like level 73 or something, wherever it's 65. I don't know. So they finally get a signal out and 2 cops show up. Hey, officers are under fire. You need to come help us. We need backup right now. Okay, yeah, we'll send some people. Thank you, Central. And Central's not AI in this one. Central's actual Central people.
Yeah, I like that. So maybe it is early.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe they didn't quite get there yet. So, but anyway, 2 cops show up and he's like, you need to open the doors. And the dude's like, oh, we're having issues right now because, Gleason's taking over the system. We're going to call him Gleason or Gleason Weasley. G Weasley.
Oh, man.
Yo, man, what's up with G Weasley?
Fred, George, and G.
Yeah, he's taking over the system. And he's like, I can't let you in, yada, yada. And the dude's like, I'm going to hit you with obstruction charge. You don't open this door. The point is they don't let him in. And so, like, I don't know how much longer later the bad cops show up and he's like, why are you guys just standing here? He's like, they won't let us in. He's like, let us in right now. Now, we don't know they're bad. I mean, we know. They don't know that they're bad cops. Whoop, door opens right away. And do they go in with them? No.
He's like, oh, you're relieved.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So he's relieved out.
But that should be a red
They just kind of look at each other like dumbasses. They just kind of stand there like idiots. Like the one cop looks at the other one and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like... In this type of society, when a guy with a reputation such as Dredd calls in and says, listen, shit's going bad. I need some people here now. They're like, oh, Dredd is calling for backup?
Yeah, you don't.
Let's get some backup up in there.
You don't send two first year
Two
judges.
Keystone Cops.
Like,
just like do. You're like, let us in, please.
yep.
No, like, like that just kind of that was probably for me my most non-liked part of the movie.
And here's my
Right there.
my other issue. There's a point where you have 3 full-blown turrets, chain guns,
Oh, and the building does not fall down?
ripping
Anywhere
apart
there.
that whole floor.
Smoke coming out of the building.
How did nobody outside here?
Yeah, Lemon Tree next door has got to see something. Like, are the cops spread that thin?
Now, I understand they didn't get out and they weren't able to call until after that scene. But there was more than enough gunfire and more than enough explosions from then on. You'd think those 2 cops would have heard it. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
I don't know.
I mean, I understand the whole building's now shielded. But, like...
Danny, like, I do like how she's, like, got the knife to his stomach as he's making that call, yeah. Gleason, to take over the building, to take over the I don't know, the test. They got to put it in test mode.
A DEFCON protocol or whatever.
Yeah, the test gases and stuff. He's like, I got gases here. God damn it, I said that 3 times myself. You need to do this for me. She's just scraping that blade. Just, I'm got you. And she would have.
Yep.
She would have gutted him. Would have found some other tech guy. It's kind of crazy though that like they held him down, took his eyes.
Oh, I know.
Which is kind of like a Minority Report thing, giving him different eyes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's go on to the things we do like. I already went with my bloody violence.
Yep.
So I got two more things to talk about what I really liked about this movie. What else do you got?
All right. So for me, the biggest thing I loved was the practical effects, like I said, but the entire movie was filmed with 3D cameras. First off, can you imagine this movie in 3D?
It would have been good. They said that at some of the theaters you could go to, they had blood projected onto the side of the theater things. That when the blood went out, like it seemed like blood was actually coming out of the screen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That would have been fun. I would see this in IMAX.
So because of 3D cameras, they were able to do it at a significantly higher resolution. You know, like they were able to really...
Was the frame rate different?
Kind of. So a normal...
I'm not a tech guy, so I don't...
A normal movie runs at normally about 24 frames per second. And if you're not sure what that is, think of it as a picture book, like where you draw on each page and then you flip it through. Every page is a frame. So you get 24 of them flash by in a second.
Well, the higher the frame rate, the crisper it is, the cleaner and the sharp. And
that's like most phones today will do, I think, like 30 or 60 FPS. If you're a video gamer, you know that you want your graphics card to run at a higher FPS because it's a much smoother looking experience.
Certain games can't run on certain things or like different screens. That's why they sell special monitors.
Yes,
for PC games and stuff.
Higher refresh rates.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind that a standard everyday movie is 24 frames per second. The slow-mo scenes were filmed using a high-speed camera at 4,000 frames per second. So the scenes were like she's throwing the water and all that stuff in the bathtub. 100% happened. Not CGI at all. That is really what it looked like. I read that they added extra lights to give it that sparkle as it was flying through the air.
That's amazing.
Everything about that was legitimate, but it happened literally a matter of seconds to them. But when you slow it down to 4,000 frames or from 4,000 frames, you get that insanely high quality, gorgeous slow-mo look.
Yeah. And the music too. They slowed down the music to go with that. They took actual music that they had composed and they slowed that music down to go with those scenes.
Yep. That way, when they would transition back, it was literally
you could hear it.
Song.
Yes. Yep.
Oh man, it was so good.
It just makes it that much better in my soul thinking about this movie because that's just passion right there. That's passion. That's not phoning it in right there. Not just like, let's just make some stupid sci-fi movie. They're like, no, we're gonna do some stuff here, and it's gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I didn't know this, and I don't know if they said it in the movie or not. It's just something I thought about. I read that his gun is named the Lawgiver.
Yes.
I never knew the gun had a name.
Yeah, I think they're all called Lawgivers. They all have their different modes.
Well, I'm calling his gun the Lawgiver.
A little tidbit for the last movie. When he says double whammy, when he sends the 2 bullets, Sylvester Stallone, the Power Rangers movie that beat it, apparently there's a move in there, some kick called the double whammy or something that they do.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know if I did watch the Power Rangers movie fucking years ago. I don't know if that's really in there, but that's what I read somewhere. So the internet is never wrong and it never lies. So take some of these behind the scenes things with tons of salt. They may be true, might not. I don't know.
So one thing I liked and didn't like at the same time, though, I know it sounds weird, but I liked it, but I also really didn't care for it, was that the entire movie took place in a single building unit. I'm used to seeing these types of movies, gang war style movies, take place over like a city or a bunch of city blocks. Or this was literally, I mean, I understand it's 200 stories, but it all happened in a single building. Like, it had almost a claustrophobia feel to it. And it threw me off just because they had to constantly show elevators and stuff, so you knew, oh, what floor he's on now. Like, you couldn't really track him through a city. Well, because every single floor looked the same for the most part.
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's very similar to the movie The Raid. It's too similar, but I'm pretty sure that like, I think it's a Japanese movie, came out like years later.
I never saw that one.
I didn't either. You know, and talking about this, you know, one of my things I did like is I called it The Tight, because this is a very concise, straight to the point, simplistic movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's bad guys. Find the bad guys. Kill the bad guys.
Like, there wasn't any massive complex storyline. It was just very straight to the point.
No loose ends. No, oh my God, it's a smoking mirrors. It was just...
The biggest twist that wasn't a twist was, oh, some of these judges are on your payroll.
Yeah, and they need 1 million credits. It's...
Split 4 ways.
3 ways.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
Now you got a drink.
Dang it.
I kind of liked... I mean, yes, it does take away an aura of, but it just makes me want like a sequel to this, a continuation of this, because there wasn't all that extra to it, but it made it very simple. And you're talking about a claustrophobic thing here. I don't know if anybody listening watched the show Cops, but there was a lot of like, kind of like close quarters type thing where cops are in. It's not always this big widespread thing. Sometimes you're stuck in a cracked in.
Right.
And you got, you know, I remember when we were in our training, when I was in the Army, to like clear rooms and things, and you got to watch your corners, and you're stuck in this house, and, you know, there's not a lot of movement, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's not room for stunt wires and things for them to move around. And speaking of stunt things, apparently Karl Urban, who was a pretty big fan of Judge Dredd, and he wanted to do this, where Stallone didn't even know who Judge Dredd was. He said that, you know, he wanted to do something. So a lot of his stunts, so he does a good bit of like the Lawmaster riding. He did as much stunts that were allowed for him to do.
Right. Yeah. I have that actually as one of my old did you know things. I have that many of the stunts and action sequences in the film were actually achieved using practical effects rather than CGI that many of the actors performed themselves.
Well, Karl Urban's like a man's man.
Well, great example.
He seems like a cool dude.
Olivia Thirlby.
Livy.
It said that she underwent extensive physical training. First off, learn how to properly handle and hold a firearm.
I did appreciate this. They did handle their firearm the proper way. They weren't shooting it sideways or holding out like Rambo or something. Like, they were doing it the right way.
She wanted to make sure that she gave a convincing portrayal of Judge Anderson, because people look for that stuff. I mean, they really do. But it was also because she wanted to be able to do some of her own stunts.
That's awesome. It bugs the shit out of me watching like some sort of police officer show or movie or an Army Marine movie or whatever it may be, and people are... First off, they don't ever wear their beret properly. They wear, like, you know, the Transformers, they said behind the scenes that they went through training with these guys in the first Transformers movie. Like, they went with this unit to train with them, but they didn't train them how to wear a beret properly.
Oh, jeez.
But, I mean, you look like Schwarzenegger back in the day with the 2 machine guns in his arms. He's, you know, like...
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Holding them at 90 degrees just so you could show off his muscle.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You know, if I would have been in this movie... I would have had, like, I would grab one of the turrets off at the top there, and she's been shooting it by myself, you know, like, come here, mama, I'm going to get you.
Wow.
But no, they did it great here, and I appreciate the attention to detail.
Yes.
You gotta pay attention to detail here. Karl Urban, man, let's talk about his Urban judgment here, because Karl fucking Urban killed it as Dredd here.
Dude.
Like, seriously, he was serious, he was slightly sarcastic, but tough as nails, man.
I feel like Karl Urban is one of those underappreciated actors. Up until The Boys.
I saw him.
Like, well, most people don't realize he was in Lord of the Rings.
I didn't realize that he was in the one Jason Bourne movie. Like, I knew he was in there, and I saw it, but like he wasn't big yet. And that, I think, came out after Lord of the Rings. I could be wrong here, but I didn't know it was the same dude. I didn't know he was one of the Rohirrim. I did not know.
Oh, really? I mean, like, he was in the Lord of the Rings as Éomer.
Yeah.
He was in Star Trek as Bones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew who he was by then.
He was in the movie Doom, but we don't talk about that one.
I like Doom.
Really?
Yeah, our next podcast is on Doom, isn't it?
No, it's not. No.
Simplify, motherfucker.
But I don't feel like anybody really gave him the appreciation he deserved until The Boys, when he was front and center.
And he's going to play what? Johnny Cage? He's playing Johnny Cage? Kano? Somebody?
I'm not.
Well, he can't play Kano because that Kano's already been cast, but I think he's playing Johnny Cage.
I don't think he can.
In the new, they're making a whole nother Mortal Kombat movie. Like, I'm not making this up.
I did not know that. Okay.
There's a whole nother one coming out.
He was Scourge in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. You see these guns right here, these are,
These are all things I didn't even realize it was him. Because he's such a good actor, he changes who he is.
As soon as, I think Lord of the Rings is what made me recognize who he was. I need to find out which was first, that or Jason Bourne, because he's so, like, faceless in Jason Bourne. I think part 2.
I'm on it.
You on it?
He was in Almost Human, but we already talked about that before.
Canceled mother. Oh, you sons of bitches.
He was in Riddick?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Jeez.
Yeah, Volgo, something. Yeah, he's been in a lot of things, dude.
The Bourne Supremacy, he played Kirill in 2004. So that was after the Two Towers. Two Towers was 2002.
Yeah, it just took me for a minute when I watched that movie to know if it was him. And I was like, wait a minute, that guy's so familiar. And I've seen Bourne Supremacy more than once. I think after I watched it the second time, I realized he's been in a lot of things. But yeah, he's definitely underrated.
He played Julius Caesar in Xena Warrior Princess, the TV show.
Oh yeah, dude. Have you seen the picture of Homelander on the Xena or Hercules show from way back in the day? I didn't even know. Yeah, dude, he's like a baby.
With Anthony Starr.
Yeah, Anthony Starr's a baby.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, I did not see that.
He's already, well, I'm 41. He's like 45 now or something. 46, 47.
Who are we talking about now?
Anthony Starr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was say Karl Urban was born in 72. So that would make him
math
older than me.
41, 53.
Math is good. Okay. So moving on.
Yeah.
Let me see here real quick for you. Anthony Starr. I did see a picture of him with like glasses and a beard and stuff like that. And just seeing him not blonde, you don't realize who he is.
I saw him in Banshee and I loved that show. He was awesome in Banshee. So right now, yes or no, is Karl Urban showing up in Deadpool? And we haven't technically in our timeline of this podcast releasing seen Deadpool yet. So
he can't.
He can't?
He played Scourge. You think they're going to recast him for another part in Marvel?
They said he might be a variant of Wolverine.
I could see him.
I don't
playing.
bite on a lot of the rumors. I'm just
no, but I think he would make a good Wolverine to replace.
Well, I think he's just
Hugh
going to do
Jackman.
like a cameo as like a different version. I don't think he's going to be like in the movie. I think he's going to be in there very shortly and quickly.
And then he gets killed or something.
Yeah. I'm already mad that they've ruined the Sabretooth stuff for me.
I've seen
irritated.
too much about that. They released the entire, I guess, the whole fight scene, but I won't watch it.
I didn't. No, I just saw them like running. I was like, come on, guys. Like, I already knew that there was some sort of a head, but I don't know, just, now, like, the Hulk might be, like, what are we doing, dude? Stop releasing things.
Yep.
Please stop.
I was on YouTube, and I saw
I'm so close to seeing this movie at this point.
a recommended video. It said it was the fight scene. It was like a promo, and I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But
Well, apparently Elizabeth Thurbly loses her hair and she plays Cassandra movie or something. No.
What?
Yeah, she's got psychic powers. It's probably her.
What?
I don't know. Whatever. Let's get back to Judge Dredd. We're going down some rabbit trails that lead us to rabbit holes. What else did I like about this movie? Everything.
Anthony Starr's 48, by the way.
He's 48.
He'll be 48. Yeah.
He'll be 48. Yeah. God, he was such a baby. You gotta find those photos. He was so young.
I'll
So
look
young.
later.
There's something on Instagram I follow where it shows actors from like when they were super young to like when they're our age now.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Overall, what do you give this movie as your rating?
8.5.
8.5?
I
give it an 8.
really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, yeah, there's some over the top violence and whatnot, but I mean, it felt like a solid comic book movie mixed with a solid action movie. I really enjoyed it. And when I found out that there is or were no plans for a sequel, I was very sad.
Yeah.
I would love to see Karl Urban come back.
Mouth is watering for a continuation of some sort. Just do the mega city thing, man. Sci-fi's hard to, I don't know, sci-fi shows struggle.
And you could easily bring Karl Urban back as an older version of Dredd.
Yeah.
I mean,
sprinkle him in, like they said, sprinkle him in.
Bring Anderson back. I liked her character.
I do. She's really cool. Bring it. Let's find somebody to play Hershey, man.
Yeah, there you go.
They bring all these characters in everywhere. Have Fergie recast as an actual bad. Listen, Adam Sandler played the diamond dude in that Netflix show, and he's kind of grimy and whatever. Have him be like a penguin kingpin type dude, like he's supposed to be. Have Adam Sandler chop somebody's arm off. Let's go.
Or you could do like the DC comic in the first one or two. I keep playing footsie with you. Sorry about that. In the first one or two, a corrupt cop seeks asylum with a gangster who, on his one hand, only has a pinky. All of his other fingers are missing. So when you join his gang, he cuts off your pinky and puts on a necklace. Give me that.
That reminds me of Dolph Lundgren in Universal Soldier, where he has all the ears on a necklace. I can't hear you.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Oh, we're doing Universal Soldier, but not all the sequels, because some of them are so bad.
So we should do an episode on parody movies, like Hot Shots and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm down for a scary movie. Let's do it. Yeah, Hot Shots Part 2.
The best and the worst parodies.
Oh, there's some bad ones. Well, I just had Emily sit down and watch Euro Trip with me.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So Not Another Teen Movie. I was like, we got to do that one.
That's a bad one.
I like that movie. Whatever. Okay.
I just like when she's walking down the stairs, like the whole prom dress, and she falls. And
somebody did a side by side. They did the scene from the original the movie where the guy, whatever teen movie that was, where he had to like get the girl, and then they showed the other teen movie one. No, not anybody but Jamie Briggs.
It was Freddie Prinze Jr. like making the geeky girl into the hot one. They did a parody of that too.
Oh, not in our teen movie. They do that. That's the whole premise of it. Like he's got
right. Okay.
He has to make her pretty because she's so ugly and so nasty. Like, get out of here.
If I've learned anything from those movies, all you gotta do is let your hair down, take off your glasses.
Yeah, well, she does that in the thing, but we're not talking about. Overall for me, I had a lot of fun on this rewatch. I was looking forward to this rewatch. I was scared about rewatching Judge Dredd, but you know, this one here, I was like, yeah, I'm totally watching that movie again. I mean, it's just so cool. The villain's good, the hero's good, the explosions are good, the gunfights are good, the gore's good. Lena Headey,
she played an amazing villain.
So good.
I really enjoyed that.
So good.
Is there anything from the first movie you would have liked to have seen in this one? Like any aspects? Like, do you want him walking around saying, "I knew you were gonna say that"?
No, I don't want any of that. The law. He could have said. Well, he sort of says that at one point.
He says it
in his monologue.
I think
on
once.
The speaker system.
Yeah.
I am the law. Oh, another tidbit I forgot. So Rob Schneider is making fun of Stallone in that first movie. That is ad-libbed.
Are you serious?
He just went on when the scene started making, and they just can't. Apparently, he liked that comedy, and he kept that in there.
Jeez.
I
did read that in this movie, I can't remember his name now. I'm sorry. One of the original creators had a cameo, but I couldn't find what the cameo was. I couldn't find an actual part, so I don't know if it was.
I do have something about
somebody
cast
in the
members
background.
and stuff, so maybe
if they were smart, they would have made him the homeless guy at the gate when they go into lockdown.
Dude, that poor guy.
The gate slams down on him.
Hey, you're still here. You get your ass up.
Boom.
I like the teenager Juvie Cubes kids. Like, you better get out of here. I'm saying he was just so funny with those kids, like the teenagers. And
I like when they like come out with the guns and where they yell like freeze or something. He's just like, why? What are you gonna do? Why?
Yeah, I like when the dude's got him like dead to rights, and he's like, wait, what?
Wait,
did you just say wait? The great Judge Dredd wants me to give you an extra minute, or
it's like, are you gonna beg? Are you gonna? And all of a sudden he gets blown away, and he's just like, nah, I was waiting for her.
Yeah. This Judge Dredd is. I would have liked to see him like. No, I don't want to see him more feared. I mean, this Judge Dredd is. I don't know how to say this.
See, I would have liked to have seen it that as the movie progressed, because what was his name? Weasley. he was going through the cameras and seeing like, oh, there's bodies. At one point, he was like, he killed 30 people already.
Yeah.
If as the movie progressed, you could see people getting more and more timid going out to face him. Instead, they were still super gung ho. I would like to have seen if like this was building his reputation of, oh man, maybe we shouldn't.
You talk about the turret scene. The one part about that I didn't like. So her mama's second-hand man goes in there, and they're searching, and you see a bunch of smoke, and hey, what's going on? And then he just starts running out with Judge Dredd holding him, and Dredd just throws him off the roof or off the ledge there. I would have liked to see that scene expanded a little bit more.
And he just walks back into the smoke.
Yeah.
Wouldn't she have been like, hey, guy still on the gun, shoot right there.
Right? No, I told you it's to the left. In a way, I wanted to see him do more Rambo shit and just run through people. But then I'm like, you know what? I do like the grounded nature of this.
I like
he has body armor, but he could get hurt.
It made him less just brute force. He was less of a barbarian and more of a
smart,
planning, strategic warrior. Like, he thought his next move out.
He looks at the bars. He's like, you got to cut these with acetylene, and I need to. He's like looking at the roof. He's looking at the walls. He's trying to find an exit. He's trying to formulate a plan. Yeah. He's like, okay, I got an idea.
That's what I mean. Like, they didn't just have him walk in and just, he's the best man ever. He just kills everybody in 2 seconds. No, they actually made it somewhat realistic. I'm going to throw out they didn't call it a flash grenade, but basically like a shot grenade.
Yeah.
Gave him a chance, nice. And he's like, okay.
There you go. That was cool, the projection of the voice, and they couldn't tell where he was at.
Yeah, that was neat.
I'm right here. I did like that he had character development here a little bit.
Yeah, I think
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Maybe he always was that way, or he maybe was playing with Anderson a little bit, but like she kind of sort of got to him a little bit. He was kind of being not super lenient by any means, but a little more understanding.
My only issue with that is she even says she lost her issued sidearm, therefore she would have failed the assessment, period. Yeah. And said he passed her. Now, I understand there's always, extenuating circumstances, but being the guy who...
Super strict,
even though she performed, phenomenally and saved his ass, I feel like a real Dredd would have been less inclined
to
think
about
pass.
That. I was thinking about that. I don't know. I think she did so much stuff to make up for that. That's one of my least favorite scenes is how she loses her sidearm. Like,
what do you mean? It blows the guy's arm off.
No, I mean,
I know what you mean.
He's got her, like,
they're they're dealing with the teenagers, and he saws his bindings off.
I don't buy him catching her off guard like that. I know she's a rookie, but
where were her psychic powers there?
Yeah, I don't know. Just speed of plot, baby.
Now she was conserving batteries. She turned them off for a minute.
Cerebro. So let's talk about a scene where he does some questionable things when she gets in his head. Anderson gets in his head, and he pisses himself. Right. Anything you can think of is more disturbing. Like your mind versus my mind's gonna win. Ends up pissing himself. He loses. So he finally gets free, and he gets up to Mama, and he does he go? I don't think he goes and changes his pants. I would have been like, listen, Mama, I'm gonna give you the report, but first off, I gotta go change my drawers real quick. And my chonies are a little moist.
Well, I understand here. She's like, no, blah blah blah. Only gunshots to the back. It's like you're trying to set it up so nobody investigates this. They're gonna fucking be investigating this.
Yeah, because a bunch of cops already went in. The Keystone cops are still staying outside or eating donuts down the street, doing whatever they're doing.
Oh, it was just a test.
No report back.
It was just a test. Open up 2 dead judges.
Well, there's already those 4 judges would have had to tell somebody. They would have been no GPS trackers to show that they went to that location with their lawmasters or wherever they showed up on. I don't know. There's some strategic kind of logistical things that are. I don't know, whatever. This movie's cool. Okay, this movie's cool. I don't want to hate this movie, man. Stop making me talk about this.
All right. How do we segue back in?
So let's talk about like maybe some other stuff like behind the scenes things, maybe.
Ooh, I have a good one.
What do you got? Stuff.
No. So I was looking for some solid trivia, and you always find stuff like the camera information and the. Olivia Thirlby did some of her own stunts, and
which I didn't find strangely.
So, okay, yeah, cool. Oh, they almost did a TV show. That's cool. Give me something I didn't know. So, apparently, in preparation for this role, Karl Urban read a bunch of Judge Dredd comic books to get in that that mental state of, okay, who am I playing? And then he actually had to work on lowering his voice.
Yeah,
to make it more gravelly, because if you watch The Boys, he's got that.
Talked about drinking whiskey for this.
He's got that slightly higher British voice.
Yeah, he does, right? Yeah.
Like me. And he had to sound like you.
Don't ever compare that voice to Karl Urban ever again. I will cancel this podcast.
That was a gay Smurf.
Oh.
Yeah, so he had to, like you said, drink whiskey. He had to.
He said his throat
He had to
was
learn how to
thrashed.
lower his voice in a more natural way, so it didn't sound like he was.
You just gotta do the leather jacket. That's all you gotta do, man.
Yeah. And I thought that was amazing. Like, you hear method acting like Jared Leto. You hear people who, phone it in. You have Stallone, who didn't know anything about the character. He was just doing the script. And then you have Karl Urban, who's like, well, let me research this guy. Let me see, who am I about to be? And I think that's one of the reasons he nailed this.
Yeah, and he never takes off his helmet.
I was waiting the whole movie thinking, is he going to...
At the very end or something.
Yeah, and nope.
Kiss
never.
Anderson.
Come here.
Never once. And I appreciated that.
Yeah,
I really liked that.
He was very adamant. He's like, I'm not taking this helmet off.
They kept, like I said, this very loyal to the comic books. And of course, despite the massive box office failure, it gained a, you could say, cult following. Fans.
I've never talked to anybody that
Love it.
didn't like this movie.
My boss at work, one of his profile pictures for I think it's Zoom is Karl Urban's Dredd face. Like, it's the helmet and everything. Like,
Nice.
I actually asked if he'd want to come on and talk about it, and he's like, I just love that movie. I don't know anything about the comics. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll take a slight pass. Originally, an obese elderly woman was in the mind for Mama, but Lena Headey persuaded them to change it. So she changed it to like a middle-aged woman with a misandric personality. I did not look it up what misandric means, but she's fucked up. I mean, listen, the character went through like some hardship, you know?
Well, they even said
Grew up on the street.
She's a former prostitute
Yeah.
who, I guess, killed her pimp and took over.
Yeah, because he cut up her face and beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, and then she somehow got to the top floor of this building and just
Took it
started,
level by level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
She wore prosthetic teeth, spoke in an American accent, and wore fake tattoos. Although one of her tattoos is a flower, but like they kind of continued it up to her neck.
Oh, I do remember seeing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is she British? Normal?
Yeah, she's British.
Okay.
Yeah. In her penthouse, you can see a smashed judge's helmet hanging on her wall, with a Lincoln gold chain attached to it. This might be a nod to the comics design of the Judge Dredd. Or I mean, it's kind of implied that she's already taken out a judge before. That she's, pretty tough.
Okay.
This is one of the best-selling Blu-rays ever at 750,000 units.
Wow.
I'm not sure when that fact was put out there, but it's sold a lot of Blu-rays.
Yeah.
It is probably, I mean, it's so crisp. Well, there's a lot of scenes with yellow. Apparently every single Karl Urban with Judge Dredd has yellow because that's Judge Dredd's favorite color in the comics is yellow. And I would have to go back and watch it.
I want to rewatch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Elveridge is the only judge to use a special shotgun called the Widowmaker. It's really a Beretta shotgun with a detachable box, magazine, and prop shell. Every city block, excluding Peachtree's, is named after references from Judge Dredd comics and the other 2000 AD material. I did a lot of the comic stuff after I saw the movie, so, I mean,
right.
I'm sure it's right because there's a lot of people behind the scenes that a lot of the restaurants and things you see are named after those people in the cast, or not the cast, but the production.
Okay. I did see, I don't have it written down, but a fact was, if you pay attention to a lot of the graffiti on some of the walls in the background, I guess it's designs and names and stuff directly out of the comic book. Like graffiti from the comic book they just redid.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's that world building.
It is.
People see detail, even if you think it's something super minute, they see it.
And that's why the Judge Dredd creator says he likes this movie. He admits that he likes this one a lot better than the other one.
In my mind, he's the old guy who gets crushed by the door. I know he's not. Oh, probably not. But.
Maybe he's in makeup or something. There's several references to fatties from the comic books. A group of extremely obese people, many so obese that they require a wheel underneath their stomach. And I was trying to look for those, and I haven't read those comic parts yet, but I want to find them.
Wow.
somewhere. But yeah, the graffiti.
We're getting there.
It just talks about the graffiti, like fatties rule. That's like what you're talking about. That's from the comics.
Nice.
Yeah, because like the mutants in the comics, the one I'm reading about, there was somebody that had like 7 heads and a giant obese body, and like all the people out in the cursed earth, like there's people that have like 2 heads and weird arms and stuff.
I wonder if there's anybody with psychic powers in the comic books.
There might be. I think Anderson is in the. I know Hershey's in the. Like
Yeah, Hershey.
the first movie, a lot of those names are legit.
I would love it if they did make this into a prequel. They made another film with Karl Urban because he's older now, and it somehow segued into him like meeting Hershey, and like it's segued into the original Judge Dredd movie.
That'd be definitely interesting. You're talking about that beggar. It says the currency used in Mega City is known as credits.
Yep.
A beggar at the entrance of Petrie's wears a sign that says "Homeless Chunky will debase self for credits." I didn't get a chance to see what his sign read.
I did read that, but I didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah. And my fact underneath here says that Mama spent 23 months in ISO cubes and had a total of 7 arrests. So she did serve a lot of time. Before Dredd's famous "I am the law" speech to Mama, a sign can be seen on the Petrie's restaurant near the Commons that reads "Eat and get the hell out."
What else?
This film took nearly 2 years to obtain rights to, as it went through several owners after the 1995 Disney version flopped.
That was Disney?
Did you know there's an old SNL sketch that never, it was either SNL or Mad TV, it never got put out there, where it's like in black and white, but it's Mickey Mouse and he has the Fox logo and all these other logos together. I don't know if this is an internet thing and it's not real, but they said this came out in like the late 80s, early 90s, where it's a joke about Disney owning everything. I don't know if you've seen it making the rounds.
I believe it, though.
I mean, it could be in one of those Simpsons things where it's like
they're
fake,
getting there.
But yeah, they are definitely
They own
getting
Fox. They own Marvel. The
Umbrella Corporation.
Star Wars.
So this is shot a lot in South Africa.
I saw that.
And there's a map. It says in the scene right after Anderson interrogates Kay, there's a map of the world on the wall. Very prominent in red is the country of South Africa where the film is produced.
So my only issue with that is why? Why was it filmed in South Africa when 99% of it was indoors on what could have easily been a soundstage, and the only outside shots we see is obviously CGI?
I don't really know why it was shot
Cheaper
there.
production cost, maybe?
I thought I read something somewhere, but I don't remember what I read about it.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean...
Yeah. Well, what's the movie where the alien ship crash lands and then they live in the slums of like
District 9.
District 9. This movie, I don't know when that one movie, that had to have come out right around here.
Which they were supposed to do sequels to and never did.
Yeah, another one, which is,
and
that lead actor's really good.
That's an unsung hero. That was a good movie.
That is a good movie.
Yeah.
And then they're in South Africa.
But
good.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Because I read it was mostly done in South Africa, but I don't understand why they needed to.
Well, it says a large building with shutters over its sides that Dredd drives past in the initial chase is John Vorster Square's police station. It's a station where the political activist Steve Biko died during the police interrogation in 1977, and the shutters are bullet traps. So that's like an actual place in South Africa. And the Hall of Justice was shot at the University of Johannesburg, the old Rand Africans University campus, a massive concrete hallways, which was notable for being super cold in the winter. Because concrete, keeps heat, which is why my basement's always so warm. There are no robots in this movie.
I'm telling you, it was in the past.
Had to be in the past.
No AI, no robots. We did still have the Lawgiver's fancy voice activation.
Well,
but he didn't use it nearly as much.
No, but it has standard, rapid fire, armor piercing, hot shot, incendiary, high X, and stun.
The incendiary was basically like
shot in that dude's mouth.
Well,
right in your
when he shoots it across the courtyard area.
Oh, just
it's like, what do they call that when the military airplanes like drop all those
napalm.
Flares? Yeah, well, I was thinking like the Angel or whatever, where they drop all the flares to deter missiles.
Yeah, okay.
But no, napalm's a much better example. I've watched it. I'm like, oh, it's like a firework. Like, oh, it's probably gonna like hit the whole floor just caught on fire.
Don't got much more here. I mean, there's so Michael Biehn from Terminator apparently auditioned to play Predator. Yeah. So Michael Biehn.
Really?
So Michael Biehn from the Terminators, he auditioned to play Judge Dredd. I didn't get it.
Who do you have like anybody else that tried to get the part?
You know, I didn't really look into a lot of that stuff.
That's
felt
just
like
something
did
I
so
always
much
enjoyed. Is like, okay, say Bradley Cooper was almost Iron Man. Like, just thinking about how it would have been so different. That's just an example. Bradley Cooper, to my knowledge, did not try and play Iron Man. But
Yeah, you never know. I'd like to see him show up somewhere.
Could you imagine
he's
that?
already Rocket, but
could you imagine that? It's like, nah, we don't want you for Iron Man, but we have a rodent.
you rat face looking.
And then James Gunn's brother Sean's like, it's not that bad, man.
Back off, Bill the Bear. So in the first movie, they wanted to have Judge Death, which is a character in the comics. Due to expenses and concept art, it just didn't work.
Yeah, but I did see that they were planning for him or whatever in a sequel.
Maybe.
That the sequel that they were trying to push for, TV adaptation or movie, was supposed to focus on, Dredd, but have death as a major part.
Well, in the first scene in the movie here, he's chasing all those people, and that vehicle, you can see a bobblehead, and it is Judge Death. So there's your connection between the two movies, Judge Death.
Wait, so they're driving a vehicle that has a Judge bobblehead.
That's Judge Death. I didn't even know about Judge Death before doing all this research, so I didn't look back for it, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's tons more out there. You guys can go out there and do your research on your own, but that's, I don't want to go on forever on this.
Something I do want to touch on before we get closer to the end. And it's not that I liked it. I didn't not like it. It's just one of those like, wow, I don't even want to think about it moments. Is when they hit those three guys with the slow-mo and then throw them off the roof. Because they said like it slows your brain's processing down to a fraction of a second or minute or whatever. So basically that was a very long fall.
Yeah, so instead of falling for like 15 seconds, you're falling for like 15 minutes. We'll just basically say.
Yeah, go with that.
Like, so when she falls,
can you just imagine that?
Yeah, Mama falls, her head hits. So she's still awake as like the side of her head hits, because they're like skinned and pretty much dead in a way. They're like in shock.
Yeah, they were basically
skinned,
flayed.
but she's like alive. So think about falling down.
Oh my!
So she falls kind of like on the side of her face, right? So it hits your orbital bone right here.
I didn't even think about that.
And so you're still awake as you can feel. But then again, how much pain do you feel? Because your synapses and firing and sending chemical signals throughout your body.
But you're still experiencing the entire thing.
And your head's smashed. You guys can't see me doing this, but your head's just smashing and you're still your eyes open. You're still processing the information. And because here's the fucked up thing, because after you die, there's been reports that your brain still lives on for so long. So there's the question, are you still having some sort of a consciousness during that time before you're finally, and whatever happens after for whatever you believe. But in this movie, so say that your brain does still function, whether it's smushed or not, say it does still, even for 2 seconds, that's still, say, 30, 40 seconds of feeling and understanding what's going on.
15 seconds to 15 minutes would be 2 solid minutes of understanding what's happening.
Man, dude, he was brutal. I love he just put it right in her mouth, forced it in.
I did expect at some point in this movie that they would use slow-mo as a weapon on either Anderson or Dredd, but they never did. I don't know why. I just thought for
I wonder how long the effects last, because she's in the bathtub and they're doing that magical scene, and the guy's yelling at her, trying to get her attention, and then she eventually snaps out of it. Like, can you snap out of slow-mo? Or do you got to ride that wave?
I would think
because she seemed to have rode the wave for 15 seconds at least. But like if you're on it, say you take a puff that's going to like slow you down for 15 real-time minutes. So you're experiencing it for a while. But like if somebody's like grabbing and like slapping you like, hey, snap out of it. Can you can your body shock out of it? I don't know. So they should take slow-mo and mix it with the crystal dream drug for Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. Because that you put it in your eyes and it tells you lies. So you're hallucinating because you don't even know what the hell's going on, and then you take slow-mo and you're just completely screwed. And then they chuck you off a building.
You know what? Hey, just for shits and giggles, we'll mix it with the Scarecrow's spray that makes you hallucinate your nightmares.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh man, that'd be awful. Just for flavor a little bit of meth.
That's go good on my tongue. It's like those dips that you get when you were a kid next to the thing there, the convenience store, The bodegas.
Do you remember the was it the Big Chew bubble gum where it was like strings?
Oh yeah, Big Chew. I'm at Myrtle Beach, and this mom's yelling at her kid. She dropped candy cigarettes. Did we discuss this on a podcast somewhere? I would discuss it with somebody if they still had candy cigarettes, and they do. And this lady was mad because she dropped all her candy cigarettes, and the little girl, probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7, was trying to pick them up, and the mom was super mean to her. And she's like, well, you just got to leave the rest of them. Let's go. Let's go. And I'm like, first off, douche, you gave your kid candy cigarettes that probably shouldn't be around anymore. Or maybe they should. I don't know. I'll play devil's advocate. They should be around. But like, don't be mean to your kid and just let them pick up her candy, man. I mean, people were walking on that sidewalk, though. Maybe you shouldn't let her pick him up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I don't know, 15-second rule at Myrtle Beach.
I would have let it go, but that's I have issues with germs anyway.
Yeah. Anywho, that's let's talk about the future real quick. So you want a continuation?
I want a sequel. I don't care if it's TV, movie. I would love to see a sequel, but I've got to have Karl Urban back.
He's got to come back in some capacity for sure.
Yeah.
We needed TV. What did the streaming age now? I don't know what company owns this now. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if Disney still somehow. I mean, well, no, it passed through right, so it's not. Maybe Disney owns it again. I don't know. We can find out, but I want this to come back somewhere because Judge Dredd is a cool concept when it comes to police force type stuff. That's not your normal procedural. It's not your normal sci-fi. It's unique in a way, and it's endured since the 70s. So we need to get this going again. 2012 was a long time ago. They've rebooted. We're getting another Lord of the Rings Gollum movie. I'm not happy about it. I mean, you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I love Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
I feel about that.
I want another Judge Dredd before I get another Lord of the Rings movie.
So real quick, according to this, Rebellion Developments currently owns the rights to Judge Breasts to Judge
That's a whole other movie.
Intellectual properties, and Rebellion has also at one time owned the publisher that was originally responsible for 2000 AD. So it sounds like it's back in the original hands, maybe.
Right.
I'm not sure.
So then they can get it to Netflix or Amazon to get this made.
But then it also says here that Stallone made $18 million for Judge Dredd.
18 million?
Which is 95. That's pretty big.
So if it only made 35 domestic and he made 18 million. Holy pearl. I wonder how much Karl Urban made. He didn't make no 18 million off of his. There's no way.
Oh my word. This is totally off topic, but how much do you think Stallone made for Rocky 1?
Oh, not much.
$35,000.
Yeah, not much.
But it says he was guaranteed to get like royalties, I guess. It put him around 2.5 million. What about you? What would you like to see in the future of Judge Dredd?
I think I agree with the possibility of just doing not just about Judge Dredd, but doing it about the police force. Maybe the precinct that he's in, or maybe the district he's in. Not just about the full Mega City one, but let's get like a cop show that's just about like his area, about different cases and stuff that happen.
So here's my prediction. If we ever get a reboot or whatever you want to call it of the Dredd franchise, it's going to be based before Judge Dredd was born, or he's going to be a very small child with a brief cameo, and it's going to talk about the development of the judge's program.
We already have that in Halo.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, my fear is that they're going to do a Halo John type thing. This is Joseph Dredd. You got John. Like they're all going to do like. I'm afraid they're going to just rip off and rinse and repeat. And I want this to be unique. And again, I would say let's not rush this.
I would say
let's rush this.
Let Apple TV do it.
Yeah, dude, I got to get Apple's subscription. I got to do this, man. There's so many good shows on there.
Okay.
So there it is, man. There it is. We got Dreadlocked, but now we're free from the traffic. Our hover taxis are going good. Our SUVs are going good. My Corvette's back out in the driveway where it belongs. It has not been blown up. Man, I'd love to have a new Corvette. But the only way to do that is to maybe make money off of this podcast. And that's what I'm going to segue over to you, buddy.
All right. So if you like what you're hearing, please smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube page.
And if you don't, you're getting months in the ISO cubes, and I'm not going to tell you how many.
Drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Let us know. I mean, we asked a couple questions this episode. Hit us up. And again, the standing question is, who would you put Adam Sandler as in this universe?
I want to know.
I do. I do want to know.
Judge Hershey.
Oh, there we go.
with his chiseled block-like ass.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Jump on over to our social medias, drop us a line, drop us a comment, message us, whatever you want to do. We are fairly active. I do recommend Instagram. Hit us up. Let us know your thoughts, your opinions, what you would like to hear us cover next. Is there another action movie for what apparently turned into season of action?
Well, it's season of sci-fi.
Sci-fi,
This
sorry.
is a sci-fi
that
season.
you want us to cover, let us know.
You're like, Lethal Weapon's not sci-fi.
Yeah, close enough. If, by chance, you really like what you're hearing, jump over to patreon.com/treeofgeek. Sign up for our Patreon for $5 a month. You're going to get exclusive pictures. That's right, some behind-the-scenes pictures now and then. I am working on some outtakes, because believe me, we say some shit that does not make it into the podcast.
Oh, that's probably good. That's probably good. Yeah.
You'll also get a heads up on the future upcoming episodes, as well as the ability to vote on surveys. Hey, asking what do you want us to cover, or maybe an upcoming episode, I don't know, maybe it needs your vote. You'll have the opportunity to do that, but only if you're a Patreon subscriber, so please don't hesitate to jump over. And all Patreon subscribers get a shout out. So, John, thank you as always for being there for us, being our very first Patreon subscriber. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to have you on again.
Thanks for taking me to Myrtle Beach.
That too, even though apparently you took like a 20-hour drive there instead of 8.
Yeah, Emily and I got there way faster.
And Unconfined You, thank you again for being our first and only currently paid subscriber. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for believing in us. Even though,
gotta stop selling my blood, people. Come on, help me out here.
The thing is, I don't even know if he still listens. Like, I kind of wonder if he signed up and then forgot about us. But you know what? That's okay.
There's an app for subscriptions, apparently, because some people get paid for Netflix twice. I don't know. That's stupid. I don't know who does that.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that's going to be a wrap on this episode. Stay tuned, because in 2 weeks we'll be covering another fun sci-fi series. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, because we might not know what it is yet. So from the Tree of Geek, this is Josh saying take care, everybody.
And from Arnold over here at P3s, we'll see you next time. And just remember, I am the law.
I knew you were going to say that.
Hey guys, I'm still here. Am I getting paid for this? Am I gonna be on the Terminator episode? Guys? Guys?